What's up, guys? It's gootecks. Welcome back to the Untitled Esports Show, the show where we talk about all of the ins and outs of what's going on in the wide, wide world of esports. Unfortunately, Zorine couldn't make it due to some prior esports obligations, but we do got Slasher in the house and coming to us live from an undisclosed secret location is a familiar face, a man we haven't seen in a while,
So
Mr. Mike Ross.
it's good to see your faces.
Good to see you,
I,
Mike.
Good to see you.
I can't fucking believe I'm here. I can't fucking believe I am here
Stop
for
it.
this moment. Oh, it is so
Stop
fucking cute. Oh my god, it is so cute. Oh,
It's good to see you, Slasher. I haven't seen your physical in like 2 years or something.
yeah, man. I remember that event in New York. We were
That's
complaining about how fucked our lives were.
Yeah, so that's right. All the
Birds
fun
of a
time.
feather flock together.
Yeah, but yeah, that's right. But it's it's good to see you. Of course, it's good to see you guys, and I'm excited to have this conversation, talk about whatever it is we're about to talk about.
Good.
hmm
Great. Well, the best thing we're gonna talk about is you. I'm so fucking excited to talk about you. So my
Mhm.
first relevant question is, did you do an Etika on us the last 2 years?
I don't know exactly what that means necessarily. I know it's just crazy how, man, time flies, and Etika is the topic of discussion after seeing that. I did see what happened, but no, I don't think I'm crazy. I mean, I do believe that the revolution will not be televised. I'm not ready to scream that out into the world like Etika is yet. He's the leader of the free world. So no, I didn't pull an Etika yet.
Okay, so no, for real,
Mhm.
the last we
Mhm.
kind of saw you in a public facing way. You talked about how and why you left the fighting game community and how almost esports was kind of the cause of like a good portion of that. And since we're on the fucking Untitled Esports Show,
Yeah.
aptly named,
Yeah.
can you kind of go through like what's been going on the last year?
I guess I can try a little bit. Well, for one, I never left the fighting game community. I just said I wasn't doing anything within it or for it anymore because I started to pick up on some of that slick talk from companies that are kind of like, Mike, do this, Mike, do that. No, but what about for the FGC? Wouldn't you do it for them? And that's why I was like, oh
Oh, the
no,
FGC guilt trip.
the slick
Do
talk. Yeah, so
the do it for the
Trip.
community.
exactly, and that's why like I did something with Velociraptor from Event Hubs had reached out a while back, and I asked him straight up. That's why I was like, "Yo, who is this for?" I'm waiting to hear that. I'm waiting to hear, "Oh, it's for the FGC," but he didn't say that, and I was happy. He wanted to do it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, and it's also for like Event Hubs readers and stuff like that." So I was like, "Oh yeah, that's dope. That makes sense. Yeah, let's rock this then." But no, I've been like just trying to lay low. I've also, since I was like kind of front facing for a lot of stuff, you can get distracted and lost and not really there's so much going on in the world that you just are ignoring or oblivious because you have so many other obligations. With taking a step back, I can look at the fighting game scene and see stuff that's like what's dope, what's missing, and all kind of crazy stuff. What's it like going into a new game, and not really having per se access to a community. Like what's it like just going straight online? What's it like if you have to use Discord? I got to learn a lot. So it's been a long learning process, man. And after all these years, I learned that I still don't know a damn thing.
So you came to the right place.
hmm
I want to know during that time,
Mhm.
how many fourth place finishes have you been getting?
hmm
While
well,
you're on.
I do respect and like the fact that after 2 years, your comedy hasn't improved at all. Lets me know nothing in this world has really changed. But yeah, I got
I appreciate that.
yeah, no problem. No, I got third place at undefeated in Arizona. Suck my dick, Slasher.
Didn't you get a bunch of, didn't you win a bunch of tournaments in the Valley?
Say, yeah, I was, yeah, Northridge, Worlds Collide Esports. They do weekly tournaments out there. It was quite a distance, but I mean, it's fun going. Do like Guilty. They do every game there, I believe. Shout outs to Worlds Collide crew, obviously, Severin, Deadspite, Hirsch, and Kizzy, everybody over there, Rush, all you guys. Yeah, I was going out there for a bit, and then I don't know what that term is, but it just hit me again where I'm just like, damn, you know what? It's kind of cozy at home. Let me just play online. And now my Guilty Gear doesn't work on my PC, so I got to get a new PC.
How are you liking Street Fighter V?
Oh, I like the way you worded that. Slasher with the elementary journalism. Hey, do your parents know you're gay? Jesus Christ. I mean, again, like the only thing that game offers me now is I get to watch people I know compete and do well. They get excited about it, and that's cool to watch. Watching Punk. I have to watch Punk. I'm always support Punk. Punk, help Ryan and myself out. And, I'm always going to be rooting for that guy. I don't care what Punk plays. Whatever Punk does in life, I'm going to be watching like what these fools do and all these people. So a lot of the people that I know like are playing the game, and I'm going to be watching them. Not everything, because there's 100 tournaments every weekend. Like I don't, I just kind of only want to watch the ones where it looks like the competition is serious.
So you've been sitting back and observing and watching stuff from a distance.
Mm. It's better that way, I think.
So the way that you worded that, should I assume you have not come around to this current video game?
I mean, no. I mean, like I've tried it enough, and there was no difference between season 1 and season 2 except some like frames or something like that. They just adjusted like some frame data, but it is what it is. You like it, play it. I'm playing Moron Combat now, as Eris calls it.
So we at the stage where you enjoy Moron Combat more than Street Fighter V?
Well, yeah, I mean, I play it more technically, but I mean that doesn't say much. But it's it's a fun game to say the least. I don't know. I could never take that game seriously, but it's a fun game to mess around. I didn't create Moron Combat. Eris was the first person I heard say that, so don't quote me on that. And when he called it Moron Combat, I said I've never heard a better expression. It's easily the best term.
I mean, if anyone that would appreciate that, Aris would definitely appreciate the props there. So, like, then what are you playing the most?
Oh, you already know the answer to that. Jesus Christ! Like, it doesn't. There's. I'm afraid that I'll never stop playing Dota.
Of course. Of course.
I'm afraid.
Most people don't know. Most people don't fucking know that Mike is a beast at Dota.
I'm not a beast at it. No, that's the.
No, shut the fuck up, Mike. Mike is a beast at Dota. If he wanted to win the international, he could have already. All right, but he chose to play Evo and to play fighting games. All right, but he could have been a multimillionaire already on EG if he wanted to. Like if you and Arteezy and Sumail, you would have went all the way.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that I always like the team aspect of the game. It's just awesome. But at the end of the day, fighting games are still that's where the soul lies. It's the most important. Fighting games are too good, man. I went through an area of depression too, and I was like, man, there's it sucks that like everything you had hoped for and everything that's out right now just either to me, it may not be accurate, but for my eyes and my lens, I thought everything out just was straight trash and garbage and was an insult to player bases everywhere. And I was like, man, at least I got my Dota. And then after a while, I was like, man, it's starting to get boring. And then that's when I picked up Guilty Gear, and I was like, thank God, that game is so good. That game is so good.
Well, okay. And then since you're going off that, I have a question for both of you. I would say a lot of people, maybe from outside the scene, like I would say, from my perspective, I would say almost this is one of the best eras ever for fighting games. Yeah, you might have things like Marvel, which have totally shit the bed, and obviously Street Fighter V is a very, contested topic on how that game has launched and been released. But you have other games like Tekken, who seems like their community is in doing better than ever, and the new Smash was actually pretty well received, even more, than Smash 4 and whatnot. So do you feel like that's not the case, both of you, and that actually fighting games are not maybe where they should be?
Of course. I definitely don't think they're where they should be, or I don't think they're where they could be. There's a little bit of combination of both, but if you are a fighting game fan, I mean, what is a better timeline than now? Because there was not too long ago when you didn't have any choices. There was nothing out. You had to play games where the last patch was released 8 years prior. So I think now if you like it, of course, it's the best time, and it's only going to get better. But you just got to deal with a lot of the which happens with any culture, with any trend. Like when they see something's hot and picking up steam, then all of a sudden everybody starts making this, right? How many Wolfenstein 3D clones came out after the success of that game, right? So now that like fighting games are picking up steam, everybody's got a fighting game out. Holy shit, so many fighting games. We got ponies fighting each other. We got historical biblical figures fighting each other. Like there's just everything you can think of. Jesus Christ, literally in a fighting game.
Yeah, but even though there's a lot of fighting games out right now, there are still some notable absences from the fighting game market. You got your Riots and your Valves and Blizzards, and one of them has to be cooking something up because...
Well, I mean, we know already the Cannon Brothers are at Riot. We know Seth Killian is at Riot, and they have been working on fucking something for a while now. So really, that is the answer for... I mean, that's the obvious go-to for the things that you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's like right now, the fighting game scene is sort of ripe to have something come in and disrupt it really swiftly. And when that happens, then there will be, I think, like some sort of boost or second or third win, however many wins it's been so far, and that'll help push it forward. And I think if you look on a longer timeline and you're also taking into account this theoretical potential esports bubble that is eventually going to pop, then I think that'll be good timing for other communities, such as the fighting game community, which is currently undervalued, to have a lot more interest in it. Because the thing is, like, when the bubble pops, a lot of this stuff isn't going to stick around, but the fighting game community
like this
has...
show.
Well, I'll still be here, so what can I say?
Well, okay, so do either of you believe in the Riot project, which we do know nothing about? I mean, they sold Rising Thunder or whatever the fuck that game was to Riot.
Riot bought Radiant, didn't they? They bought the whole company,
yeah. They bought the whole company, but they've been there now for feels like almost a year or two. We've heard no news. We've had rumblings there, but from what I understand, Seth Killian and the Cannon Brothers are still at Riot. So, of all the things that we've mentioned, that seems like that's the one that would do the things that you're talking about. Now, Mike, you kind of have more experience because you played Dota, so you kind of are a little bit more knowledgeable, I would think, of Riot and that whole scene. But both of you, are aware of this bubble popping, which Riot could very well be contributing to the popping of that bubble. Do you guys believe that Riot's fighting game with people like Killian and the Cannon Brothers behind it is going to be the game?
Well, for one, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if they're making
it's all speculation right now.
It's literally they could be making a zombie platformer, right? It's very possible. I'm just saying I don't know.
Okay.
What I do believe though is I do believe in like whatever project they release, I'm gonna be on it no matter what, even if it's like not even a game, it could be an app. I really don't know, but whatever it is, obviously I'm gonna try it out for sure and support it. So
Yeah.
I have faith in whatever it is they do.
Yeah, I mean, those are like literally the best guys to do it.
You got literally the originators, the Mount Rushmore of this stuff putting a project together. So it's kind of, I'm excited
Yeah.
for that. Whenever it is, even if it comes out in 2040, if I'm still here, I'll be waiting for it.
How much of Capcom stumbling over the last maybe year or two in terms of the fighting game division? Because ironically, everything else they've done has gone like pretty well. Like the Resident Evil remakes has gone great, Monster Hunter has gone great, and it seems like that's the A team, and then they leave the leftovers of the fucking fighting game division to create what they've done in the last few years. Do you guys contribute their stumblings to many of the problems that we have now?
I don't think they've stumbled on anything. They've done everything accurately the way they wanted to do it.
It's a very good answer, Mike. It's a very, very good political, diplomatic answer there. Ryan?
I think that now that they've reshuffled Capcom USA and sort of either split up the esports team and sort of changed control, sort of splitting control now between Capcom LA and Capcom Japan, I think that is to me an indicator that they wanted a different strategy, or they wanted things done differently. I think that the changes of the laws in Japan to sort of allow esports and allow people to win money playing games, I think that is part of the reason why they wanted to bring some of that control back to Japan. Thinking about Street Fighter League specifically, I don't know if you guys know, but you know that the Street Fighter League that they're doing here in America is like they were already doing one in Japan, and it looks way different, and it's harder to find. Like they're not putting it on Twitch; they're putting it on like I forget what they're putting it on, but
wait, the Street Fighter League here in America, is it on Twitch?
No. There's two. There's the Street Fighter League in America, and then there's the Street Fighter League in Japan. The one in Japan isn't on Twitch, and that one is like super hard to find. Like, I didn't even know it
like
existed.
Nico, the Japanese.
I don't know, something like that. Anyways, the point is that Japan is now doing more stuff in Japan and also trying to adapt some of those models here in America. I would probably, lots of things have to be localized, and I think that's one of the things that probably, I don't know, could be improved. But I don't know. I mean, to me, like, it doesn't really matter what Capcom does because the whole thing isn't dependent on it. Like, for example, when you think about League of Legends, if Riot makes some sort of crazy misstep, then the entire League of Legends ecosystem suffers. But if Capcom or Bandai Namco or any of these other companies make some sort of crazy misstep, the rest of the fighting game community essentially like goes on. And that's the beauty of it. Because because try as they might, no one entity can control the FGC. It's just literally impossible because it just doesn't work that way. And that's what people don't understand about our scene versus the other ones. Like no one publisher, no one tournament, no group of people can control the whole thing. It just simply doesn't work that way.
I don't know. I do agree with you that definitely, especially over like history, you're definitely correct. The fighting game community has been definitely distinctively different in this way. But I will say that, your example of Riot is probably applicable because A, they only have one video game they've ever made, which is League of Legends. And B, their only competition within that genre is Dota, which is a game which is vastly different than League, and you can make arguments that fighting games are pretty different in their own right, but I would say they're, the comparisons aren't quite the same. And then Heroes of the Storm, which, as we've seen, is a complete fucking disaster by Blizzard, so your options are limited. But there are other games like Fortnite or even PUBG where if you didn't like PUBG, you could go play Fortnite, and if you're pissed off at Fortnite and Epic right now, which a lot of people are, you can go play Apex Legends. So I do think that there are, and if you hate all of them, you go play Overwatch. If you don't like that, you play Rainbow Six. I do think the FPS genre does have a lot of games right now. Maybe fighting games, there are more of them, but FPS is doing pretty well in terms of like its community. It is not like an FPS community like there is in the FGC where everyone's like get together and whatever, but there are definitely a lot of FPS players that go from one game to another, and it is building somewhat of camaraderie between all of the players where you see some similar things. So I don't know if it's just the FGC. And the second point I'll make is, you may say that if you don't like X game in the fighting game community, you could always go play Y or Z, but you can't deny that Capcom have been the leaders in the industry, and Mike was diplomatic about the way that he talked about it, but their missteps with Marvel versus Capcom that pretty much kill a legendary franchise with a fucking god-awful product, and their awful release of Street Fighter V definitely hurt the overall ecosystem. Yeah, you could always go play, what was the term, Mike, for Mortal Kombat?
Again, if I'm going to say it, I got to proceed it with citing my sources as Eris labeled Moron Combat.
You could always go play Moron Combat, and you could always go play Tekken, and real fighting game players won't go play Smash because they're too used to making fun of them. But you could go and do that if you wanted to. But really, for me, also again from the outside, having Capcom fuck up this badly, it does seem like there are players that just won't play anything now. Like, their game Street Fighter was fucked and they're pissed off, or they played Marvel and now they're even more angry, and now they're playing fucking Dota like Mike Ross is, because they're so frustrated with everything. And I don't think that's totally unreasonable of an outlook on how some people in the fighting game community view that.
I think people who are really dissatisfied with Street Fighter and or Tekken can definitely, they've been going to play Dragon Ball. I don't really think anybody is disappointed with Tekken. It seems like everybody's
No, Tekken's great though.
Yeah,
Tekken's great. But the failures are Marvel and Street Fighter. The failures are all on one company, but that one company has been the industry leader for your entire community.
This is why I'm saying that the whole thing is sort of ripe to be disrupted right now. Because if some company came in, the Riots, Blizzard, or Valves of the world, they would shake the whole thing up. But it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, Capcom should have done this, Capcom should have done that. Well, maybe, sure, but what does the individual do about that? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. What are you going to do?
Complain on Twitter? Whine on Reddit? Go on this show and complain for an hour?
Plenty of people do that, but the reality is that there's very little that we can do aside from take our own personal actions to do what we can do. And if we aren't the ones that work at Capcom, then what the fuck you gonna do? Nothing. Just got to do what's best for you. Because because here's the thing, it's not. Maybe this is the difference between fighting game players and people who don't play fighting games. We're used to taking responsibility for the things that we can do and the actions that we can take. But it's I can't affect the way that somebody else plays the game. All I can do is focus on my own. So it's everything could always be better, but we're not. The two, me and Mike specifically, we're not the ones that had anything to do with the whole thing. We did. You know what? Here's the thing, Rod. You should understand this about esports, right? In a team game, all you could do is hold up your end of the bargain, right? I mean, back in the day when me and Mike when Street Fighter V was in its infancy, like, what were we asked to do? Mike, do you remember what we were asked to do at the beginning of Street Fighter V? Do you remember? Gootecks members.
Asked from who?
From Capcom.
I mean, I'm pretty. You ask me, I'm thinking of like a million things. I can think of a million things.
They probably asked for a lot more than they asked. Like here, what Capcom asked Gootecks Mike Ross to do was host the Lupe.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah.
We did that.
That's right.
And we did that to the best of our ability. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, everything that I've done, everything that I could have done for them. I went and did the E-League thing. Like I did my part in the whole thing. What more could Gootecks have done except what was asked of him? So I'm okay with that. Like, here's the thing: if you're on a football team and you're the kicker, and every time they fucking hike to the ball, you score that field goal. I mean, hey, I'm sorry, guys. Every time they gave it to me, I scored. I'm sorry we lost in the championships. I'm sorry we didn't make it to the playoffs. But I can sleep easy at night.
Mm.
How about that, Slasher?
Sufficient. That's sufficient. Well, your boys fell on the sword. So they tried themselves. Peter, Combo Fiend, he fell on the sword. Hans fell on the sword.
Why do you think they dipped?
Huh?
Why do you think they dipped? They didn't want to do it. They did what they could do and they dipped.
Do not blame them.
No. I mean, here's the thing. Like, you get the people that aren't like super in it, like don't quite understand the relationship between Capcom USA and Capcom Japan. Like, Capcom Japan makes their decisions. They do what they want to do. They're sort of, dictating, and that's it. It's not really as clear cut as everybody thinks it is. But I don't know. That's what makes it interesting, I guess. What if they really had all their shit together? Then what? We would be talking about how they would be trying to impose Riot style rules and regulations on what players can and can't do. That sounds like a slippery slope to me.
I'm just waiting for franchising. I'm going to claim Mike for New York.
Cross on your 5 team.
Give me the jersey to hold up so I can smile and say I'm happy to take my talents. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, already at the point, right, where you're asking people to do certain things and what they can and can't say, right?
Yeah. I mean, in other games, I mean, I'm sure in Overwatch League, when you sign that contract to get your 60, 70, 80,000, there's some clause in there that says that you can't talk shit about Blizzard and you can't stream other games on your channel, whatever, right?
Yeah. Part of the thing we have in PC and esports though is we're trying to get all the white people not to say the N-word. and
I'm not holding that.
Don't worry.
That's
See, black people are slick enough. We heard it used in so many different ways. You don't have to say it to know that we know that's what you mean.
But usually it's not a problem the FGC has that we're still trying to get past here in traditional esports.
Yeah.
We got some obstacles to go by. I mean, there's no black people in esports, so we don't most of the white people don't know what to do.
So it's not an issue.
Yeah, they never have to deal with a single black person in any major esports. They don't know how to deal with that.
That's so funny.
Separate but equal,
that's
right?
Actually hilarious. There's still those words. Oh,
Like
anyways.
I really want to whose bitch this is in esports. Like so we can
Well, look
have
at
that
there was the
moment.
NBA 2K fight
Yeah.
last week. I
Good shit.
mean,
That's
what
what we
more do you
fucking
want?
need. That is what we need.
It's going to be so pre-planned and pre-produced. Guys, listen. The FGC has culture. We're missing that.
You know what we
Pop
need
off,
here?
get angry.
You know what? Yeah,
Mhm.
pop off, get angry. You want to be famous, don't you,
That's
kid?
right. Yeah,
I want
don't
you to
you? That's
push.
right.
I want you to push that other player's buttons,
That's
literally
right.
and figuratively.
That's right. I'm sorry, that's
need to-
inevitable. That's going to
this
happen.
is-
Don't worry.
You know, esports. We need to put the entertainment into
Yeah.
esports.
They're going to do the run back. And by the way, guys, we'd like to show you this pop off from earlier. Good God, it's going to happen. And when that happens, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, super. Yes, coming up next on the
Mm-hmm.
esports something.
Yes.
Esports highlights weekly. We have the pop off of the week featuring
That's right.
a young fellow
Mhm.
from the fighting game community. Yes, he is a colored young man that hails from a impoverished city
Yeah.
here in North America.
Tell
Take it away.
Tell us why you need this to help you and your community. You're struggling, aren't you? Oh God! Stop it, Ryan. Stop it.
What
It's gonna
I'm
happen.
looking forward to is an organic way, just like you guys do it. I want like an esports figure, like Noel, I believe, to hit someone in the head while they're on crutches, so we can have an organic fight on live stream. Like that to
Might be
me
waiting for a long
is-
time.
is
Can we
where we
leave-
need to be.
Can we leave Noel alone, please? Brothers,
But that is
man.
that sits in
Brothers
my
been-
head, Mike.
I know,
Okay?
I get it.
That
I
was
get
a
that's.
great
I know
moment.
you can't. I know you can't erase that kind of imagery and moments from your head. But I mean, that was just real stuff. That was a man pushed to the limit by somebody. I'm not gonna speak on that because I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened. So that's I don't know. I wasn't there.
I mean, for me, that was an excellent adventure.
Doesn't this isn't this just an indicator, Rod, that esports isn't that the E in esports doesn't stand for exciting?
Dang.
What you're telling me, Rod, is that you're looking for a little something extra. Extra sports. Extra entertaining esports.
Damn, you're good at these nicknames. You should go get like a venture capitalist to give you $30 million to make some shit.
Here's the thing, dude. The only way I am way too smart for any sort of multi-million-dollar VC firm or investor to want to invest a goddamn thing in me. You know why? Because I don't spend any time telling people how good I am. I spend my time being the best. You see? So I don't go out there. I don't go out there to try to convince people and be like, "Hey, you got a lot of money. You know what's popping off right now? Esports." I don't spend any time doing that. Maybe I should. You know what? Maybe I should just every day I'm just working on the deck and I'm just going out there and I'm just pitching. I'm just going to be like, "Look, drink this Kool-Aid. It's FGC flavor. It's going to be great. You know all the problems with esports? You know how it's not that interesting? You got all these teams to fucking deal with and all these leagues. And you know what? We don't have any of that. Why don't you just come invest in here? Maybe I should go do that."
I
But
mean,
somehow-
you're talking to
Somehow I don't think anybody's still going to give a fuck. You know what I mean? Because
No, man. No, you're totally wrong. You're talking to the world's #1 esports consultant. And as someone who doesn't know jack shit about what he's talking about, I'm the fucking greatest. All you have to do is just make it seem like you know exactly what you're talking about, and you
I
can
know
make
exactly
all
what I'm
of that money.
I know exactly what I'm talking about, Rod. That's the problem. The problem is that
You know too much, huh?
Mm.
Mm.
I may know too much. This is why Mike does too. That's why he has to broadcast from a secret, undisclosed location.
Yeah, I don't know anything, man. I don't know nothing. I'm just
Well, they
observing.
wanted to pick your brain, Mike. There's been many not just you, a lot of us. There's a lot of people. See,
Oh God!
Rod, I don't know.
Don't start.
See,
No.
Rod, you might be the world's number
Oh,
one
my God.
esports consultant, but here you're talking to the number one. Mike and I are the number 0 and number 1 FGC consultants.
Number
You
0
see?
and number Z.
Yeah, and we
Letters.
get Yeah.
You get FGC rates, huh? So you get like $5 and
No,
you get
bro.
you get $8.95 paid per hour.
You think somebody wants to pay money for an FGC consultant? Get the fuck out of here. Let me tell you the best. Let me tell you how FGC consultants. Let me tell you about our rates. Okay. When you want to get an FGC consultant, this is what you do. You say that you establish yourself as a big company with a lot of resources, right? And then you call up all of the people that you see on stream. You know, obviously everybody has a Twitter, you know, so you just reach out to all of them and you say, hey, so hey, gootecks, hey, Mike Ross, hey, so we have this project coming down the pipe, and we want your, we want to tell you about it, or we want your feedback. We want to know what you want to do or what bothers you in fighting games, so that we can make it right. You're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I could definitely help you with that. And they're like, yeah, so and so then you start talking about money, right? And they're like, oh yeah, well, like, yeah, we're not really sure that to pay you anything.
That's right. That's when you start developing slower speech patterns at that part. Okay, well, that's right.
You would charge money for this? What? Like, how? Why would anybody pay money for this? So, no, Rod, we don't get that $8.95. You know what we get? We get that free $99.
Whoa, right, whoa, guys, money. We don't. No, this isn't. We don't make money. But
this isn't a money-making endeavor. Do it for the community, Mike.
Can you guys do us a favor, though? Even though we don't make money, please, can you guys hold this Doritos box, and just tweet a picture of this out, please? But we don't make money, or maybe this T-Mobile could carry. Yeah, okay.
For that Doritos box.
T-Mobile. Whoa! You're not getting T-Mobile, all right? That's an esports sponsor, okay?
My bad. That was the first thing that came to my head. My bad. All right. What about
You asked for the Doritos box, didn't you? So they gave it to you. I mean, of course, you asked for it. So of course you should tweet it out, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like, your guys' type of sponsors are like Faku and YouPorn. Like, that's what I'm thinking of. That's really dedicated to the.
Are you trying to fetish shame me, Rod? Is that what?
Nah, man. Nah, would never do that, bro.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But, it's one of your favorite places, right?
Is it everybody's? Is it not yours? What, you don't like it? You have a better story? Tell me.
I got anime titties. You can't see my anime titties, but they're fucking everywhere, bro. They're all over here and all over here. All right, I got posters. All right, I grab them. When I go to sleep. All right, I'm there with you.
You got pillows. Yeah.
Yep. I got my own body pillow.
That thing, like, these are the type of non-endemic sponsors that I think there's still plenty of room for in the FGC, in the lawless Wild Wild West. Because everything doesn't have to be so squeaky clean, Rod. And clearly everybody's over there is on your side of the esports spectrum. They might be getting a little... They might start to feel that this stuff is getting a little boring. Like, it's like missing something, Maybe you're just changing now, Rod. Are you losing your... has the world's #1 esports consultant sort of lost his flair for esports?
I mean, ever since Mike Ross left, a piece of me died. And I've really been lost kind of without Mike here. So you are right.
Here for you, Rod. You ever need anything, can't reach me. But I'll feel you. Well,
here's the thing. The British Embassy over in Ecuador, I hear, has had a vacancy that Mike has moved into. So
you guys are making deals out of nothing.
All right. Anyways, so you guys want to talk about what's going on in the West? Sports or what?
Not really, but we could totally do it.
Let's talk about what now? What is that?
What do you talk about this other stuff?
That's going on in the world?
Yeah, well, I mean, to kind of stay on topic of
more city questions, Rod.
No. I want to stay on topic, but segue because I'm usually pretty good at doing that. So as we have Mike Ross back and we're talking about him, I think going into the Etika situation is really how that all ties together. Here.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Etika situation. I didn't know who this guy was, but apparently quite a big deal. Etika.
Really? Come on, bro.
I live in a cave, dude. What can I say?
He's not fucking new. He's not like some new guy, and he plays fighting games.
He played Smash, right? Like he was a Smash player, if I'm not mistaken, or am I wrong with that?
Yeah, he played Smash. He's always the guy that you see doing the reaction videos of Smash. Or that's how I want to remember him.
Look at Mike. Between the two of us, Mike is the architect. Okay, Mike is the architect in the Matrix, sitting back, watching on dozens of screens, everything that's going on, from streams to articles to tweets. Mike's the one that watches all of this stuff intently. I'm the one that is disconnected from all these things. So you have to excuse me. All I know is that he's a YouTuber because Newsweek calls him so. But anyways, this was a pretty interesting event yesterday that happened in New York. And why don't you tell us about it, Slasher?
Yeah, sure. I can kind of set up the situation. Okay, so Etika is a pretty big YouTuber and figure, mainly known from the Nintendo community, and the Smash community is doing reactions to the Nintendo Directs and the reveal of some new Smash games, and you've probably seen his memes around in that way, or at least a lot of people did. I would say in the last 6 months or so, he's been pretty erratic in terms of his behavior on social media, specifically Twitter, and somewhat on stream on YouTube and Twitch. He's done some interesting things to toe the line of what you're able to do, but especially in the last 3 weeks, especially on Twitter, he started writing some pretty kind of extreme things, that he was going to kill himself, almost literally directly. Those are his words. Not like I'm not really misrepresenting him in this way. I mean, I could find the quote in that the original Newsweek article that you might be looking at, Ryan. But he basically said he was going to kill himself and he was going to take his own life, and he bought a gun at a store in Long Island or some shit, and that made a lot of people concerned that know him and that are concerned for him, including Sky Williams, and Omni, and a bunch of other people within the community. And 2 weeks ago, he had, I believe it was an ex-girlfriend and maybe his current girlfriend, go over to check on him and make sure he was okay. And it seemed like he was okay. And he went away for a little bit offline. He didn't make any tweets or any videos or any streams. Came back maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna guess a week ago or so, and seemed like he apologized for his actions, and that said he was only trolling, and that he took things too far. Some people within the community, I believe, Sky Williams is kind of one of the people he's known for the longest in that way, didn't truly accept the way that he made his apology. And they had a back and forth about how people really are concerned for him, and people really are worried about his mental health and how he is acting online. And Sky was one of those people that wasn't totally convinced from the initial apology from what happened 2 weeks ago. And I could definitely understand how he and other people in the community feel that know Etika. And then yesterday, in the morning, he started tweeting very similar things in an erratic fashion as he did 2 weeks ago. I somehow got myself involved. I've met Etika.
Why? I don't believe you. How'd you get involved, Rod?
I don't really know Etika that well, but I live here in New York, and he lives here in New York. So I've met him, and when I met him in person, he was totally chill and fine. And for me, meeting him in person, and this was I met him in person maybe a month and a half ago at an NYXL homecoming event, and he was fine. It was cool. We like got a drink and we chatted for a bit, and everything was normal. But yesterday, I was like, after he started erratically tweeting, I was like, "Yo, what up?" And then he replied back to me, "Hey, can you get me verified?" And then I replied with like a sarcastic comment, being like, "Hey, I don't work for Twitter, probably not." And then he blocked me at the start of the day. I ended up being the first person blocked of what ended up being maybe 30 people that were all prominent people in the industry that know him, that have been concerned for him. So he ended up blocking Sky Williams.
You're always You're always number one, Rob.
Oh God. So he ended up blocking like, a bunch of Smash players and a bunch of people from the Smash community. Ended up blocking like his ex-girlfriend. Ended up blocking maybe his current girlfriend who was worried about him. And he started tweeting. He wasn't saying that he was going to kill himself the same way that he did several weeks ago, but it definitely was pretty extreme the way that he was talking online. So that ended up being someone, and I still do not know who exactly. It either could have been somebody online, it could have been someone that knew him that was initially concerned, like one of his good friends, or it could have even been people in New York, outside his window or outside his apartment. Someone called the police on him, and NYPD ended up coming outside his apartment with EMT, medical services, and that made him start to live stream on Instagram his interaction with NYPD and the entire ordeal between him and NYPD. NYPD eventually, he started saying like, he told the cops, like, "I don't know why you people were called. Someone is swatting me. I'm a big porn star. I'm a huge porn star. I make a lot of porn. I make a lot of money, and people don't like that." And so he was like trolling on stream, or maybe not trolling. Maybe for him, he was being serious. That's still, up to debate and how we're going to go through this discussion. That did not go over so well with NYPD. And a little while later, NYPD forced themselves, I believe they forced themselves inside of his apartment, or he may have opened it for them. I don't believe they knocked down the door, but I think they might have broken the lock. I'm actually not totally sure. If someone in chat wants
they started like sawing the door open.
Okay.
And they asked him to come closer or whatever to the door, and I think he got pulled up right next to it, and then I don't remember if he unlatched it for them or if they just kind of forced their way in.
I'm pretty sure he unlatched it for them. So at the end, he was then taken in an ambulance. There's video footage, which Ryan, you have, if you want to play, of him being taken into the ambulance. They ended up shutting down an entire block in Brooklyn with tons of NYPD and EMT services, all because this happened. Then I started reporting on this. People like Keemstar started reporting on this, and it turned into like a major ordeal. Not maybe, I don't know, 5 hours later, he gets released from whatever psychological situation that they had him go to. He goes back home and starts just tweeting literally the exact same things that he was in the morning. And he posted his medical report on Twitter, including his address, his phone number, and the names of his doctor. So he doxed himself, and he doxed people that were even treating him at the medical center, which is kind of nuts that all happened. And he told people to like call him. He told people to like come to his apartment. And since then, he's just kind of continued. There's been no more like police presence at his apartment, and things have continued into today. He made an OnlyFans account. Maybe he's going to become a cam boy. I'm sure he has a big one down there, and just look at Attica. So he kind of wants to go more on that route. He started telling fans they could pay him money that way, and now and lastly, he did an interview with Keemstar where he calls himself the Antichrist for about 10 minutes long, and says that we're all part of Attica's like grand plan, and that's why we're here. And his main advice is that you need to eat more salad, and there needs to be a lot of kale and spinach in your salads. And if you get more salad and potassium in your life, you can also become the evil within you, and become prominent. And now we're here. That's the basic overview of what's happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna act in front and pretend like I know anything about that dude. I don't know anything about his life. I don't know I don't know who he is. What, all I did was see this I saw the video, I saw it was like on what top of live stream fail or something, or like, yo,
Yeah.
this dude is having a shouting contest with NYPD or something. So I tuned in, and I was like, oh man, this is not a joke. Like, dude's really he's really about it right now. um People were saying that he was going through like some mental insanity issues, and kind of like what I was speaking about with you a little bit earlier. I don't think he didn't. I'm not a a neuroscience,
a mental health professional.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't know anything about the brain or anything, but just from looking at it, I didn't see a dude that was mentally troubled. I saw a dude that was like kind of stuck in his own. He's definitely stuck in his own world. Um, if you took away the phone, if you took away the stream and all that stuff, that whole situation would have been over in like 45 seconds. But it's like it was looking like, or it was like looking at the kid in the classroom who's acting out just because he knows all the students are in there and somebody's laughing at it. So they keep going and keep going and keep going. And then, a whole class might get in trouble or something like that. But that's all. He just seemed like he was just acting out. I think the brother's fine. Like, he'll be okay. I don't think he's got any mental issues. He's just different than most people.
So you think this is like an orchestrated stunt, or does he really believe it, but is not like it's not like he's not aware of what's going on?
Yeah, I don't think it was an orchestrated stunt at all, but I do believe that he believes everything he says. I do believe that he believes that he is a devil in some way. I don't think that's a mental disability. That's just what you believe.
So you think it's generally fine to believe you're the Antichrist?
Oh, I could take this, man.
I mean, Mike,
Just put it like, hey,
please give me what you got here.
We live in an era where you can, if you believe you are something, you can be that.
You can identify as whatever you want.
That's
2019.
If it's 2019, if he believes he is the Antichrist, if that's what he identifies with, then you got to address him as the Antichrist. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I just don't think there's, I don't think he's mental. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Sup AC, like that's all I'll call him. Sup AC. That's what you go by, right? That's what you tell people. So it's just who you are today.
I think I'm also not a mental health professional. To me, it's really more just sort of interesting to note that this is probably one of the first times that there's this sort of public outburst from somebody with such a high profile that really ends in. I mean, obviously, it could have ended a lot worse, like when the cops are breaking down your house, whether or not you got swatted or whether or not it's legit. It's not uncommon for people to get shot and killed in their own homes when the cops show up like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the bigger thing here is, really to look at, I guess, just the type of society that we're living in now, where, I mean, clearly people are worried about him, whether or not there's actually something wrong with him or not. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The point is that people are worried about him, and then the cops showed up and busted down his door while he's streaming on Instagram. And if it would have been worse, like let's say they would have kicked it down and shot him either on purpose or by accident, wow, this would have been I mean, this would have been amazingly tragic.
Yeah,
because it does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, that's
I do agree. As much as I think that, I kind of also feel like he's okay, because ironically, on the same day as the previous incident where he was talking about killing himself, I had some DMs with him, which were kind of normal, and he was asking again to get verified on Twitter. Like, he knew what he was doing, and he wanted to get verified to make sure that his tweets grew bigger in size, which you know, like I definitely don't think it's okay to make fun of the mental health issue, and there definitely could be some serious concerns here, and people have to be very careful in terms of making light of the situation. And especially around mental health, where, you know, people are actually going through suicide issues and people are actually having like mental breakdowns, and this is like a serious thing for a lot of people. You know, like generally any other situation this would happen in, you know, calling the cops or calling a medical professional would be the right thing to do because people are worried about him. And I definitely do think that is a concern here. Etika in particular, specifically because of his personality and because of everything else, and I've seen like other positions on here. I mean, I watched a video last night from our good boy Triforce, and who did a whole video on Etika, and his perspective was totally different in terms of the way that Etika is talking right now, and he thinks Etika is totally fine as well. And not only is he okay and we shouldn't be as concerned, one of the main things that he brought up, and I do have to agree, is that calling the cops to check on Etika, because we live in current day America, and even though we are in New York City, calling the cops on a black guy could end up in a death sentence. And that calling NYPD on Etika to check on him, even in a mental health way, could have ended up in a really, you know, in a bad way. And 100%. That people should recognize that that is an issue that we definitely have to be aware of.
I mean, I just want to, like, again, you know, this is not my business. I don't need to know the details on dude's life and how he's living, but like, I just want, you know, if these people who apparently did call the cops or call whoever on him, you know, if you're in, I guess they probably couldn't reach him, huh? Because he blocked everybody out of his life, right?
Yeah, he wasn't responding to messages. He blocked everyone that he actually knew and that was like close to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's a little bit different. Yeah, I forgot about that part, that he was just like untouchable momentarily. But dude's fine. Like, come on, calling the cops on him. Like, what? That's phony. That's phony caring.
All right, great.
So what if
that was the Twitch blow up? That was the Twitch blow up of the week, guys. Yay!
have we learned any from this situation? I kind of don't think so.
What did we learn? We learned that, well, I think the fact that he was streaming, and there was a section where he got the officers to pull up their phone and tune in and watch him live streaming, and they were having a conversation via a stream, which is just like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But maybe, you know, that could have potentially saved his life by having that thing on the whole time.
So you're most interested in like the technology angle here?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. That was fascinating to me, because we all know it. Like you said, hey, brother didn't have a camera on him. Who knows what could have happened? And there's nobody to defend that case. He became, hostile. He became very violent and charged at us. Pop, pop. It's a possibility. If there's no cameras there, you know.
No, actually, you might be right. Like, I was just thinking, I wasn't actually thinking about that, but maybe him live streaming. I mean, he was doing it, and he said he was doing it for like entertainment purposes. Like, he was trying to like entertain his community. But I mean, really, for even safety, NYPD probably saw that he was live streaming, and they would make sure.
Yeah.
They're not gonna fucking do anything on
That's
camera.
Right. Yep. Better not.
All right. Well, moving on. In a much lighter topic.
No, we're actually not lighter topic. The next topic that
we sarcasm, Rod. It's fucking sarcasm. You see how? Like, you get it, right?
Yeah, I get it. You ain't got to explain nothing to me. I get it.
Thank you. Went over Slasher's head, guys. I'm getting rusty. Gootecks' sarcasm is not on point today. It's so good, even Slasher himself could not detect it. Rick Fox decides that he is out of Echo Fox and is currently trying to sell his position within the company, as well as really cut ties between him and the parent company Vision Ventures Partners over an alleged racist remark from one of the Vision Venture Partner shareholders. And it was Richard Lewis over at Dexerto. That's how you say that, right? Dexerto. Dexerto was the one that broke the news. Really sort of shook up the entire esports landscape. People are, it's quite a big deal. I mean, this is just like a whole heap of drama all piled into one thing. And a couple of new developments from Esports Observer, because Echo Fox has released a statement confirming it, and Riot Games now deciding that they're going to respond accordingly based on what comes to light. So yeah,
we actually have breaking news, literally posted maybe an hour ago on this very story. Echo Fox shareholder Amit Razada denies racism allegations regarding Rick Fox.
Whoa, wait, okay, where did we see that?
I posted it in Skype. So this pretty much just came out. Richard Lewis is the one that initially reported the initial report on Rick Fox, and that he had a source inside of the company where Rick Fox made this statement towards the other investors. So that was Rick Fox's original statement, that there was some racial disparaging commentary coming from the investors. So it's not like another person was saying it about Rick Fox. It was literally Rick Fox himself and him wanting to exit the company. So now there is an entire new port from Richard, who Richard just released this story like literally an hour ago, denying some of these allegations.
Dexerto has been sent the email in question and confirmed its authenticity with sources familiar with the situation. We have concluded all our investigations and can reveal that the individual at the center of the controversy is Amit Razada, founding partner at Vision Venture Partners Group, that invested in Echo Fox following a $38 million raise of capital under the name Vision Esports. Okay, so they have the email. Whoa. Wait. Okay, I'm looking at it. So they reached out to him for comment. He says, quote, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then they were contacted by a law firm who then issued a statement. And so this is his statement. Quote, "We write on behalf of our client, Amit Razada, in response to your request for comment on recent media accounts of racial statements and threats allegedly made by our client to Mr. Ulrich Fox and or his family. First, Mr. Razada has never used or made a racial epithet or statement towards Mr. Fox or anyone in his family. Moreover, Mr. Razada has never threatened Mr. Fox or anyone in his family. Any allegations or suggestions to the contrary are simply false. In fact, Mr. Fox and Mr. Razada had previously enjoyed a 20-year-long deep personal friendship and have been and are currently involved in several business dealings together."
What the fuck?
What?
It goes on to say that Amit Razada denies all of Rick Fox's claims and has never used a racial epithet towards or threatened Rick Fox or anyone in his family. Until recently, Mr. Fox and Mr. Razada, okay, so basically is reiterating. Mr. Razada is saddened by the end of
I see. Oh, okay, I see. I get it. So then he released, so it says so then the article says, with regard to Jace Hall, Razada released the following statement, quote, "In a heated and contentious email exchange with Jace Hall several weeks ago, I lost my temper and used a racial epithet directed personally at him. I have apologized to Jace, and I would like to apologize to all. My language was wrong, and there is no excuse for it. I have stepped down from all day-to-day decision-making with all entities in which Jace Hall and I were involved.
What?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
All right.
Okay, all right. Okay, what do you think, Mike?
Just so you guys know, like, you know this about me, Ryan, or Rod, you might. I'm a dumbass, and I'm trying to understand what just happened. Like, so the dude, like, okay, Rick Fox, he's the one that said it. He said, I got, they talked about Jace.
Originally, Rick Fox's statement was that it was originally that Rick Fox's statement was about Jace Hall, that this person made a racial epithet to Jace Hall, but that because Rick and Jace were so close, Rick was personally offended by everything that happened and that he was stepping down. So this isn't totally different than what was originally reported. This is basically just his defense of what he did, saying that he didn't make it at Rick. He still did actually say this racial slur, which I'm all sure we can guess what it is, towards Jace Hall, and that actually did happen. So it seems to confirm what happened, but he's trying his best to deflect that by saying that it wasn't against Rick Fox.
I don't know. This story just seems bogus to me. The whole thing just seems bogus.
Okay, I will give you
the whole thing just seems
some background and clarity here. Also, Richard Lewis is around and willing to chat if we want to do that. I don't know if we can have guests. We've never actually had a guest on this show besides our normal guests, so I don't fucking know how that works. Producer or host.
It's possible. So you just have to add him to the call.
Do either of you want to talk to Richard, who broke the story, and maybe give us some insight? I will say that from what I understand, Echo Fox itself has been going through financial problems, and that they, as we can see with the fighting game community, they picked up like 10 fighting game players at the initial start of the team, and that has dwindled down to only a few. I mean, Justin Wong, for example, is no longer on the team, and Sonic Fox has really become their figurehead component of at least the fighting game community side. That general aspect of them burning through money, from what I understand, is definitely something that has been happening at Echo Fox, and there have been rumblings of Rick maybe trying to sell Echo Fox because of how much money they've gone through with their investment, and all the kind of internal other problems that are there. So tinfoil hat here, and maybe we should, Ryan, want to bring on Richard a little bit. Tinfoil hat is that this is all again an orchestrated thing to try to distance himself from the org because of all the financial problems that have gone on with the team.
Yeah, I'm just imagining how that played out. I could totally see that. But again, I feel like it's wrong. I don't want to speak on the man's business. I don't know what the emails are. I don't know what's going through his head, but just the whole story just seems so bogus. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. I can try to make an analogy, but I don't know if it's going to register with you guys.
Please give me that analogy. I really want to hear this now.
All right. So, but again, this is like me trying to understand the story, right? I have a son who's heavily into marbles, right? Loves marbles.
Great.
And I see this fascination, right? I see this fascination with him in marbles, and then he takes me to an event, and then I see, holy crap, there's millions of people talking and playing about marbles everywhere. This might be something big, right? And for me, my background is I've been in, something similar where I've been doing this forever. Blah, blah, blah. This is dope. Hey, Ryan, gootecks. This marble thing is big. Oh, you're into this too? Why don't we start an organization? Oh, you love
You and
marbles?
me. Yeah,
All right.
well, of course I love marbles. I've loved marbles since day one.
Okay. Cool. Well, I got a buddy who I've known for 20 years who's got all the money in the world, and we can start a marble business,
That would
a
be
marble team. Yeah,
dope. A
a
marble
marble,
team?
a marble team. We'll call our team Marble vs. Capcom.
I like it. I love I've been down with marbles since day one.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So now we've been
But
doing.
you got a homie. Your homie's got the money.
Yeah, my homie's got the money. Don't worry about it, Ryan. Like he's got all the money, right?
Okay.
You know.
All right. Well, I
see
mean,
the
if he's got
potential. Yeah.
if he's got the money, then yeah, let's try this marble thing.
Not only do I see the potential in marble, I'm going to be the face of marble. So let me put on my suit and tie and let me make my rounds and let me go talk to everybody in the industries. Let me go on major news networks, CNN, etc. Let me go on everywhere and tell them that this is my passion because of my son. You know, like I want to do this. And
you and your son have bonded together over marbles.
That's absolutely right.
And you can leverage your extensive career to hit all the media outlets, and then with your homie who has all the money, then we'll be able to get our new marbles company off the ground.
That's right. And exactly.
Okay. And sounds like a solid plan.
Yes. And I'm sure, somebody who's been in business for a long time, who's done so many different things, seen so much of the world, to let the whole thing that you have done and that you have built, supposedly because somebody, we're doing this and I see an email and somebody says something bad about you. I'm sorry. Like, it's just not worth it. I don't care. God, so stupid. Throwing it all away, really? I'm done with esports. I'm done with my branch because somebody called my partner a nigga. The whole thing done?
Twitch. He has a pass, by the way. Mike has the pass. Twitch. The Twitch cops.
Oh no, I don't. Because I'm Wayne Brady, so I don't have that. But I'm just saying, like, you're really gonna crumple your whole organization? You're gonna crumple your whole organization over? There's still those words. Why don't you just smack the dude in the face if it's that offensive? Like, leave the team, but you're talking about I'm leaving the whole industry because of what one man said about my friend. That doesn't make no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. Apologize. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't. Oh. No.
Would you want me to leave if somebody called you that, Mike? Would you want me to?
Okay. So if we're in that situation, right? I'm pretty sure that's happened. Like, what are we talking about here?
Was I a bad friend for not leaving?
I was gonna say no. But like it's a little different because, well, it's not different, but in that context, it's all right. Maybe we just say, literally, like, fuck this dude, fuck this company. We go do it our own way somewhere else, right? That has nothing to do with the entire industry as a whole. I know Slasher was right earlier when he did say there's no black people, and especially now that Rick Fox is gone, like there's no black people in esports. But still, it's like, like man, that whole thing is just like it. Basically, why I say it's bogus is because I'm leaning towards like a little bit what Slasher was talking about. It's like maybe the business was failing, and now that's the quick cop out. I'm gonna use that. I'm out. His passion didn't match it. I don't know.
Before all of this happened, I had heard those rumblings from, I would say, reliable people that all of these financial issues have been here. Yeah. And that they've been here for a number of months, and that there have been rumors of him trying to either sell Echo Fox or sell some of the things that he'd done. We've seen them release, half the roster of players on their team. So obviously there are other significant issues going on within the org.
And rather than blame it on, or, rather than say, you don't want to leave the scene on a bad note, like, I tried it, it didn't work. It's just, hey, that man, he said something about my boy, so we out. What? What? The whole thing? What about the passion, like your son? Like, what about all of this stuff? You're just going to leave on that note? Come on now. you and your boy, you and Jace are too smart and too big and too powerful to let something like that stop you, you know?
So I have a question, Mike. How many N-words do I have to call you before it's okay that Ryan leaves the show?
I mean, you know,
is there a limit to the amount of N-words? Since me and Ryan, we talk about examples here. Since me and Ryan are on the show and we have the show together, you are esteemed guests and you've been longtime friends. What is the upper limit of N-words that I need to go at before Ryan leaves?
In order to, you have a good question, I think you should test your hypothesis and let's just see.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, though, it's sticks and stones, man. It's just words. I don't care about more. Like, it means nothing. It's a word.
Mike, I'm not sure if you've been aware lately, but someone just got banned for saying the word idiot for 7 days. So I am going to...
Are you, like, seriously? Like, literally?
Literally, there is a streamer who, in the clip... It could be taken that he said the N-word, but if you slow it down and you hear it another way, it sounds like he said idiot. And the majority of people think that he said idiot, and Twitch was like, nah, fuck you guys. He's banned anyway. And then after like the entire internet and community complained to Twitch, they finally removed his ban. They didn't apologize to him. They didn't say anything to him. And they finally unbanned him after 3 days. But for the most part, he said idiot, and they thought he said the N-word, and then he was banned. So I am going to take a pass, because I don't have that pass, as we've kind of mentioned. I'm not sure if you see me, but I am the whitest fucking person, one of the whitest people in the whole world, and I don't feel really comfortable testing those limits. That's why I wanted to hear from you. It's more about the friendship, okay? See, I'm more worried about Twitch than I am about gootecks, okay?
It's funny, right? It's funny because you just explained a point that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I think, about how, or I don't know if this was right before we went, when I was talking about you don't have to say the word, but I know what you mean, right? Did I not say that? Like, you can call me an idiot, but I know what you really mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still those words. They're just words. You don't have to say it, but I know what you're thinking. I know how you really feel when you see
didn't even think about this, but now there might be a whole metagame on Twitch of calling people idiots.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're just going to let that rock, right? Because you know what they really mean, but now it's totally okay. Now you're going to see, I'm not, streamers calling other black streamers idiots. Sup, idiot? What's up, idiot? Like, and it's just going to get a total pass. This is the world that I just don't care to be part of, but I'm in it. We're here. I got to watch people do it.
I mean, I got to say, you've blown my idiot mind with this discussion. So, like, I don't even know how to feel.
Well played. Well played.
Oh, my God.
Well played. Idiots all over the world now. Everybody's an idiot.
All over the world, everywhere.
Christ.
That might be okay. That is our second Twitch ban of the week. Yeah, Twitch infraction of the week.
See, the good news is I'm not a Twitch partner, and I don't have to adhere to the same rules as other Twitch partners.
Just wait till you get deplatformed, Rod. One wrong move on Twitch, one wrong move on Twitter. Be stuck in the cold. You're the only way to reach the world's #1 esports consultant. What if you got banned on Twitter, dude? Then what? Deplatformed? Yeah. Yeah. Got real quiet right there, huh? The world's #1 esports consultant has gone dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. All those times that I asked Slasher, where can people go for more Slasher? And he's like, meh, doesn't even matter. Yeah.
Oh,
you can just follow me on Twitter. You know where to find me. And then one day, you piss off the wrong person. They stick the reporting flagging bots on you. Next thing you know, that blue check mark is gone. Starting from scratch again.
Uh-oh.
Back to Slasher. Back to Slasher with the ED at the end.
Oh shit! You fucking know.
Well, I guess time will tell as to whether or not anything comes of this, if this is the end of Echo Fox, the beginning of the end, the start of the esports bubble.
No. It's not the end of it. I mean, it might be the end of Echo Fox, but it ain't the end of Rick Fox. They're gonna rejoin and announce that, hey guys, we're here now, but we're just gonna be doing gaming events instead of team stuff. That's what they're gonna shift to. They're only gonna do events.
Esports events.
No, they're not gonna call it esports events.
Well, what would they call it? Isn't that what this is? Isn't this esports, Mike?
Is what esports?
What they're trying to do?
Yeah, but they want to rename it. They want to call it something different, and they want to own it, and they want to own the livelihood of everybody a part of it. Just a guess. Just a guess.
I mean, with the way that Echo Fox has run their orgs, man, they are a bunch of idiots.
Are they? They got a bunch of people to wear their jerseys and spread their brand name for them.
You know what? Honestly,
that sounds pretty smart to me.
The biggest thing that I have here, I think Rick Fox has been fantastic for the industry. Like, he was able to go on The View, which is something that even as big as esports has gotten, that no one else is able to do, and tell a bunch of like fans of The View, which couldn't be further from the demographic of what we do, that his son loves to play video games, and that because his son loved to play games, and his bond with his son, he was able to get into this world.
That's right.
He was able to bring that to fans. And I really do think that, you know, as much as esports might be going mainstream, someone like Rick Fox is still a very unique figure to help definitely perpetuate a positive image of the entire industry, whether it's esports or the fighting game community.
Yeah.
I think it is very, worthy that we want to keep Rick Fox in the industry because of what he's done. Maybe Echo Fox has not done the greatest in terms of how they've handled the financial situation of like the team running the org, but Rick Fox specifically, we do not want to lose him.
Yeah, I mean, it also depends too, because you got to he's Rick Fox is a great figure and face for literally anything, right? You guys seen dude's got, he's 7'8", he's got a ridiculously handsome smile. Nobody will say no to that.
Oh, and I will add that there's no indication from Richard Lewis's story that Rick Fox will leave esports. His only statement was that he was going to be stepped away from Echo Fox. I'm the only person, and like other people are speculating that, because of that, Rick might leave. I mean, I don't think so, but it would be kind of weird if like Rick Fox stayed in esports, but that the team that has his literal name in it kept going without him. But it doesn't seem like, as of right now, that he will be leaving. And I do hope that is the case and he stays around.
Well, it's really not up to Rick. I think it's up to his son. It's up to Kyle. I really thought the whole time he was the real CEO of Echo Fox. I mean, how else did Rick know which players to get, right?
Well,
talk to Kyle. You want to know what Echo Fox should do? Talk to Kyle.
Rick Fox, the figurehead, the face.
Rick Fox was the face. Kyle was the mastermind. That's my theory.
Kyle Fox is the what's his name? Dick Cheney to Rick Fox's George W.
Not exactly sure that is the best comparison you could have made, PogChamp, but I guess so. PogChamp's in the chat, everybody. PogChamp's in the fucking chat.
My tinfoil hat tells me that if they were really trying to get out like that, this would be the best way to do it, especially because in the statement, the statement says, quote, "In fact, Mr. Fox and Mr. Rizada had previously enjoyed a 20-year-long deep personal friendship and have been and are currently involved in several business dealings together."
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
20 years. 20 years.
years.
No.
20 years.
Sorry,
We were
20
homies.
years. 20 years. One word does not end 20 years.
Yeah.
Unless you say it at like the wedding or something, like it's a big moment, momentous moment or something. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Does anybody oppose the union of these two?
That's right. I don't think you like whoa. That's a little too far. Yeah, that could end 20 years, maybe.
That could end 20 years. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
What ends 20 years of friendship? Money and a dispute over women. That's about it.
That's correct. That is correct. That's the only things.
All right. Well, anyways, time will tell.
That's right.
Moving on.
Not sure if the show will be back by next week, but I'm really hoping we get to stay around.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here.
Well, technically, you're the host, and it's the responsibility of the main host of the stream to make sure that everything happens on the stream.
Yeah.
Whoa, hey,
okay.
Didn't you just throw, isn't that like another thing that's banned? You can't do the OK sign anymore, right? Isn't that like a controversial figure or something? I think I remember reading that not too long ago. If you have any information on that, if not, just ignore that.
No, that thank you for noticing the purposely thing that I did on the stream.
I'm offended by that, by the way. I don't know why, but I'm offended by that because I think it's supposed to be offensive or something.
I am sorry, Mike. I do not want to do that.
Thank you. I feel better now.
Just to give you like a brief explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So on the Overwatch League, a week and a half ago. Okay, so a little bit of context. A few months ago, the Overwatch League banned Pepe the Frog and any connotation of Pepe the Frog because of Pepe the Frog's kind of semi-recent association with alt-right groups and things like Kekistan, where it's been kind of appropriated by Nazis in a way, and that there definitely are Nazi Pepes. But I would think most people consider like Feels Bad Man and Feels Good Man as their like main perception of Pepe. So Blizzard took the approach of banning all Pepes. That included fining players for even tweeting Pepe-related, non-Nazi, obviously, Pepe-related memes on their Twitter, and this became a pretty big issue. So then a week and a half ago, during an interview on the broadcast, someone in the crowd put up the OK symbol in just like, in the camera while there was an interview being done. Someone on Twitter tweeted at the official Overwatch account asking why they're letting white nationalistic symbols appear on the broadcast. And a Blizzard staff member at the arena went to the fan and told him not to do it anymore. And then I reported on that, and now we're here.
I really, everybody's so offended. You can't do nothing anymore. It's okay. I'm offended. There's only a few things that offend me, but for the most part,
that is definitely one of them.
The OK sign, that's probably the most offensive thing you could do to me. But yeah, I don't know. Just got to get some tougher skin.
Yeah, stop being a bitch.
Exactly. I'll stop being a bitch, but just don't do the OK sign. That's as far as it goes. Like that's my limit.
In other Overwatch news, the first ever Overwatch League home game took place in Dallas to a sold-out crowd. There were how many people? Like 4,500 people rolled up?
Just about.
Esports seems to be blowing up in Dallas on the Overwatch front. How exciting.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's a cool photo. That's a great photo. There's a lot of people there.
I can hear the excitement in your voice about this event. So I really know that you mean it.
I mean, isn't it supposed to be like this at every Overwatch League arena and teams game? Isn't this what we were promised by Overwatch League? Wasn't this what they said? Isn't this why people paid $40 million for a franchise? Because this shit was the norm, not the exception? Am I missing something?
No, you sound like you're on point.
Yeah, so what happened, Rod? Why are more people not showing up for Overwatch League? Why is this news?
Okay. Ironically, sorry, I was actually replying to someone. I know you thought you did really fucking funny, PogChamp. There was, ironically, a paid activation around this. And there was even a very large argument between me and several other figureheads in esports yesterday, like Richard Lewis and Sir Scoots and a few other people talking about how many, because there were some free tickets given away of the,
you know what this sounds like?
Larger.
This is like when WCW moved to Walt Disney World in Florida, and because that's not a normal place where you would watch professional wrestling, they had to give away the seats to fill the arena for the TV tapings, so that it didn't look empty on TV. Because at the beginning, before the rise of the NWO and Hulk Hogan came over and all these things, there weren't a lot of people showing up to these events.
What do you mean? 15,000 people only want to see Eric Bischoff and Sting, fly from the rafters. That's all I care about.
Later. Yeah, that was way later, dude. Way later.
I actually
But at the beginning. Well, I'm
WCW at all.
Exactly. You know why? Because nobody was paying attention because it sucked. That's why they had to give tickets away.
So that is part of this. From what I understand, they haven't released the amount of free tickets that were given away. GameStop did do an activation by giving away some free tickets. But from what I learned, the majority of the tickets were bought. And there were more real fans that actually had to pay to get there than there were free tickets that were given out to make that picture.
So you're saying 51%?
There's been no official details. I don't.
You know what I think, Rod? I think that you have been compromised. I think that it's actually. You know what? Look at him, Mike. Look at him. He's got the New York Excelsior hat and the hoodie, and every fucking week he's talking about some Overwatch shit that me and Zorine are like, how is this relevant?
Got him. Damn.
And people would call us shills. Do you believe that, Mike?
Damn. You got anything negative to say about the Overwatch League? Right? They got you on that contract?
Okay. I want to say, one, I am a huge New York sports fan. Okay, let's not go there. Two, talking about
you were the perfect guy for them to compromise because you were already a fan.
That's right.
Talking about relevancy, people from the fighting game community should not be using that word in terms of what we should be talking about here on the esports show. Okay, that might not be the road that you want to go down. And three, realistically, in the Overwatch community, fans literally hate me because they think that I talk too much shit about Overwatch and Overwatch League. I am known as a meme in the community because I talk too negatively about the game and the league. So I don't want to fucking hear that shill bullshit from either of you two motherfuckers, especially you, Mr. PogChamp, that I am fucking shilling for this league or this game. I have been shitting on Blizzard every fucking day for the last 2 years because of their handling of the fucking game. You think Street Fighter V is bad? Fucking Overwatch has been a fucking disaster in terms of the way that Blizzard has handled this fucking game and had people continue playing. And Overwatch League has all sorts of fucking problems. So no, I'm not a shill, and that's why when I talk positively about it, I want to be seen as fair because I actually believe what they did was good. Now, you don't believe anything I just fucking said, but it's true.
All I heard was something, 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 and then you called Ryan nigga. So if you want to end the stream, I'm ready to leave this. This is too much for me. I'm too offended. That's all I heard.
We're definitely not. We're not getting to the episode. What episode are we on? 12, 11? We're not getting to 13. No, we're on 13. We ain't getting to 14 next week. It was a good run, Ryan. I loved it. Mike, I'm so glad to have you here.
Just, just giving my 2 cents. That's all.
Look, from this photo that appears not to be doctored based on my own sources. We've run it through a detailed forensic analysis, and there seem to be no inconsistencies with this photo. So there's a few empty seats in the crowd, but
yeah,
I guess, this is news because this many people showed up to watch Overwatch League, despite how Slasher feels about the game.
Yeah, the game is fucking... and Blizzard is actually, literally as of yesterday, they have made a major change to make things better. And sources tell me that they are making even larger changes, things that I have been complaining about almost every day for 2 years to make the game better. So Blizzard is finally fucking doing anything to make this game better.
That's what it is. That's why you keep trying to tell us about how we should be complaining more, because you finally, after 2 years of complaining, have seen the change come about and think that it was you all along, that is your influence that caused this change to happen.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am taking all the fucking credit for this shit going down. I am one that led the revolution. Mike talked about the revolution will not be televised. No, I am the fucking revolution, and it is going on right now on this goddamn stream.
Nice. Very good.
So yeah, I'm taking all the credit. Okay, wait,
so
no.
How is Overwatch League doing overall? Like, is it growing? Is it diminishing? Is it
viewership is like okay, I guess. I mean, there's different ways you want to look at it. Some people would say viewership is down from season 1, and it definitely is concurrently. But the way that Blizzard is making the actual money on the league and the way that they're like reporting the statistics, it's up, because they're not going based on like peak concurrent viewers on a stream, which is how fans and like normal Twitch viewers look at how popular something is. They're going by total hours watched and like the average minute that people were watching, and that is more in line with how Nielsen does its official reporting, and then that is how the ad buyers buy advertising on the league. So in terms of that, they say viewership is up. I mean, we gotta kind of believe the bullshit that they're showing us, all the developers, whenever type of shit they showing. Yep. In some ways, things like viewership, it's very hard to dispute what the developer is telling you, because they own the game. They have direct access to their own channel. If they say they got this many views, it's very hard to fact check. There's only so much you could do, especially when you add up like Twitch plus television plus the Chinese streaming services plus the other language streaming services. At some point, you have to believe, whether it's Riot, Capcom, or Blizzard, what they're telling you. So they're saying that things are okay. The team owners that I speak to are pretty satisfied with how things have gone. And honestly, they've sold more sponsorships and made more money on the league than any other game has. So even though League of Legends is way bigger of a game internationally with way more viewership, their sales team is fucking garbage, and they have not been able to nearly make as much money on the league as Blizzard has. So as much shit as I give Overwatch to the game, Overwatch League has actually gone pretty well. Honestly, all things considered, Overwatch League has gone pretty well. And this past weekend of the first ever home game, because I've spoken to a bunch of the owners, especially from this weekend, and I will actually have an exclusive report coming out tomorrow, which I can't talk about what it is, regarding Overwatch League. They are all so focused on next year. This year doesn't matter. Next year is when, and this is a question they want to bring up, next year is when localization starts. That is why I brought up Dallas to begin with. This was the first ever home game event where everyone in the Dallas area got to come out to watch the Dallas team. So all the teams don't really give a shit at all about what happens this year. Everything is on the line next year. That is when we will see if Overwatch is going to fail or succeed.
Why do you say that nobody cares about the results of this season?
Because next year is when localization starts. Next year is when the New York team is actually going to play 12 games in New York. Next year is when the Seoul team is actually going to play 12 games in Seoul. For those who don't know, all of the Overwatch teams are located in Los Angeles right now. Everyone plays at Blizzard Studio in LA. Next year, literally all the teams are going back to their home cities, and they are having traditional sports like home and away games
at their because basically it's taken this time to build their own their home team, their team's own home venues.
Yes, and even then some venues aren't ready. Like the Mets own the NYXL team here, but the home games are not being held at the Met Stadium. Now they've had an understanding with me. Like they told me where the games are going to be, so I don't want to leak it. If I found out in a way that wasn't through NYXL, I would tell everyone. But the games are not going to be at Met Stadium. They're going to be in a rented venue that's pretty popular here in New York, and all the games are going to be done there. Several of the other major teams that I've heard are going to be making similar arrangements in their own cities, like London, like Los Angeles, and like New York, where they haven't built the stadium yet, so they're going to be using current like concert venues that are popular in the cities to host venues. For example, the Philadelphia Fusion, who are owned by Comcast Spectator, they own the 76ers and they own the Flyers. They last month announced a $50 million arena, which is going to be called the Fusion Arena, that they are literally building from scratch that should be ready by 2021. So there are already some teams that are putting up significant amount, multi-millions of dollars to build the arena. So most arenas will not be ready for next year, but the localization aspect, which is the thing I wanted to ask you what you think about, is really the important part. 2019 doesn't fucking matter. Everything is reliant on next year.
Well, I see. I mean, that's going to be huge. And it sounds like they're going to be there to stay.
I mean, the major concern is, and I had a whole long argument with Richard Lewis and a few other people yesterday, is, okay, sure, 3,500 people showed up to this Dallas event, and we were still not sure how many people paid and how many people got free tickets. Will 3,500 people show up 12 times in a span of only 3 months? And what if the team is shit? Will they show up for a team that sucks
Absolutely
12
not.
times in a span of only 3 months? Because, traditionally the way the esports works, or even like the fighting game community, there's EVO once a year. If EVO happened 12 times in a year and it was once a month in Vegas, EVO would no longer be what it is today. And I don't think that I definitely think if EVO happened one time a month in Vegas every single month, they'd probably get a good amount of people. But I don't know if they could sell out, a major venue inside of Vegas every single month. So we're not even talking about once a month. We're talking about 12 games in 3 months. So they're going to have a home game every 2 weeks. And the major concern and question is, will a large amount of people, at least 1,000 in every single city, show up, buy tickets, and come out to their local team consistently every single time? And that really has been yet to answer.
You know what that means? Well, in order to do that, then they're going to need to appeal to a younger audience, some people that would have more free time. So I guess we got to start expecting a lot of mascots, probably some children cartoon shows that Comcast may be able to put out that hype up the Overwatch team and all that kind of stuff. They're just gonna target the kids to get them interested in that. So it could work.
We're gonna need a segment on Disney XD.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Overwatch League is already on Disney XD.
Well, okay.
It's already being broadcasted.
Exactly.
Because if you didn't know, Disney owns Disney XD and ABC and ESPN, and Overwatch League has a deal with all of those for this year. But to your point, Mike, all those young kids are playing Fortnite right now, so they might not be able to actually go out to the
right. Yeah, that's going to be their biggest competition. Oh yeah, that's true. They gotta find a way. Can the characters in Overwatch do dances yet?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, guess I gotta make them dance harder.
There's more porn for Overwatch than there still is for any other game. Overwatch has the best fucking porn. I mean,
Is that because the people like the costumes more, or because there's more people of that age that are demanding?
I would say it's based on the skins and the characters.
Mm.
They put many of the Overwatch characters in a lot of compromising positions. I mean, gootecks, you already know about this with your subscription to Facu, as we established earlier in the show. So I don't have to tell you this. You actually already.
I already knew my preference. I was just really asking about yours. That's all.
They got porn showing off that Winston dick.
Yes, they do. Winston is fucking all types of things with that Winston dick. Thank you for making me think about that, Mike. So now, okay, the first thing is, do either of you believe that thousands of people are going to show up? I mean, obviously, neither of you are totally aware of the Overwatch ecosystem, but let's just say we're talking about like all esports, because this is a new concept born in Overwatch. It's Overwatch League itself. Will people consistently come out to watch matches, not to play and to compete like you guys in the fighting game community are used to with your locals, but strictly to watch professional teams play?
I was just gonna share an anecdote. I have a buddy that I grew up with, went to high school with, etc. And of course, on my etiquette tip, I haven't talked to many people in a while, but one of the last times I talked to him, he had mentioned that he was like, "Man, you know what? I don't know what this stuff is. I know you do gaming. My girlfriend, or my wife, sorry, she took me to this event called Overwatch League in Irvine or something like that. And I went there. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But by the end of it, I was like, damn, this was really cool. I'd probably go see it again." And it's just like that stuck with me. Here's a dude who doesn't know anything about this stuff, but he liked the atmosphere. He liked, I guess, just the whole, or obviously she was already a big fan. So she, all it takes is somebody that's a fan of it to explain it to somebody else, then it spreads. But I can see it can catch on if they do it right. If the people that don't know what's going on are entertained during that whole time, again, get the mascot out there, have them shoot Cheetos at people's faces, right? Get them all involved. Yeah, it might come back next week. Have clowns juggling. Duh, you like this stuff, right? Don't worry about this ass game.
Give them that full pro sports experience,
Yeah.
You get the cheerleaders, the mascot, the hot dogs, the beer, assuming that these people are over 21.
Oh yeah. Do they have Overwatch cheerleaders yet? They got like for these teams? Is that a thing yet?
Nah, but it's gonna be.
Oh, there you go. That's on the to-do list. Looking.
I would be building that team from the Overwatch porn parodies. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
That's right. Never let your dreams be dreams. You got to go out and actively make them happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Ryan, would you go to the Valiant or the Gladiators?
I actually went to an Overwatch League game early last year in Burbank. Obviously, I don't recall who was playing, but I went to the studio. I was really, really, really impressed. Mike, you haven't seen any of this stuff in person, right? Yeah. I mean, it is quite the sight to behold. I wish that I played or really, knew much about Overwatch. I feel like if I knew, even if I liked Overwatch even like a little bit and had played it, I would be like, holy shit. Especially if I were younger. I mean, that shit is blowing people's minds right now. But with that said, I think that their expectations are really high, and I think the ones that are going to have it the easiest are the ones that don't have the dedicated facility to fill next year. So the ones that are going to be, like you mentioned, renting out the concert venues and stuff, I think those teams are actually going to have it easier, because I'm imagining that will allow for more flexibility, and it'll allow them to sort of cultivate that fan base in the following year, in this coming year, so that the next year when the actual venue is built, they'll already have people that are, in the habit of coming. to those events.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but concert venues are usually a little bit smaller. So
Yeah, right. Yes,
yeah,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. The teams can play reserved and rent out a venue. It's only 1,500 people, and not have to try to go all out with a 5,000 person venue where if only 2,000 people show up, it looks fucking empty.
The other thing is that doing it that way allows you some flexibility because you'll know after the first couple, do we really need the large venue or can we just rent out like a medium size or small venue, which will look way better on camera, so that you don't have this situation like this Overwatch League thing in Dallas, where even though certainly there are a lot of people there are also a lot of empty seats.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a major concern.
And the other thing is, I'm actually quite curious as to what the price point is going to be on these types of things, because, I mean...
you mean like buying a ticket?
Yeah. I mean, I can see how this would be super cool to the right person. And I can also see how people, Mike, like your friend mentioned about how he didn't know a whole lot about it, but he thought it was cool and he'd probably go back again. I think the biggest thing is going to be how good of a story the production team is able to tell about the team matches themselves. Because ultimately, as we know, Mike, without the proper story, it's just, people playing video games for money.
That's right. Yep. You just got a bunch of random occurrences happening in the world, but you got to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be clear, the average ticket price for the Dallas event was $50 a day, $100 for the weekend, and the lowest price was $35. And there were some VIP tickets that went for $150 to $200.
That is crazy.
FOH.
Yeah.
FOH.
This is why there is such a huge gap between FGC and esports, dude. Yeah. You see, like, esports is clearly for the haves.
Oh man.
So, they want people to spend that every week for 3 months?
Yeah. Oh, that's not. Yeah, no. Yeah, every week. No, that's done.
Come on.
It is going to be 12 home games per team, and the season is like 3 to 4 months long.
So think about
a home game every 2 weeks or so.
Think about it from a different perspective, right? Let's just think of it as a live event that you would go to at nighttime for entertainment, right? What are your options? Going to a club, going to like a concert to see your favorite band or DJ or whatever, possibly going to like going to a movie, right? Go to see, whatever Avengers film is out there. I mean, you certainly have, people that are fortunate enough to live in the first world that have this disposable income, can spend money on these things like this, but will they really spend that kind of money every week? And plus, not to mention like actual traditional ball sports games to go to.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're trying to put themselves up on that level, and now they're competing really with established entertainment options. I mean, I guess, hey, you know what? If your audience is not price sensitive, knock yourself out, right? Like, charge whatever you want. But are there really going to be 4,500 people in the area of each of these cities that are willing to pay that every week? Man, that's crazy.
I mean, we are talking about like fucking video games, but the one industry you didn't mention is live sports. And I know here.
No, I just said traditional ball sports.
Okay.
Yeah. Ball sports. That's the translation. I got that.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry, I missed it. But here in New York, like the Knicks are fucking bad, as we've talked about on the show. And
when the team is really good, everybody wants to go.
Yeah, but in the words of the legendary Yipes, fuck the Knicks.
Yes.
And the Knicks are one of the worst teams in all professional sports, but they still get people to pay $150 or as like a basic ticket to go to the game,
That's
and they get people to pay thousands of dollars to show up courtside at the game, and they still pay to go to the Knicks games for as fucking garbage of a team as they still are. Literally the worst team in the NBA, people will still go to the Knicks.
But don't you think that part of that also has to do with the sheer like ginormous population of people that live in New York City? Like, let's say that the Knicks were based in like buttfuck Iowa, right? Like, would they really be able to pull those kinds of numbers? I don't think so.
Well, you know what it is? I actually think it's more like the legacy of the Knicks is so big, and that is why. Like the legacy of the Yankees and the Knicks, and you know, they have such history.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, like
they weren't always bad.
They were not always bad.
Like
you're right.
All the traditional sports teams, for the most part, I mean, the majority of them have been around for decades. And these are the types of things that people had grown up with and got exposed to at an early age. Like, oh, like my family is a diehard Dodgers fan. I bleed Dodger blue, you know, shit like that. You know, eventually the young people of this generation and then future generations will have, you know, they'll be taken to these types of events by their parents in the same way that, you know, people would send me and Mike photos of like their little kids playing on a fight stick, you know, like it's a thing. But is that a thing right now in the foreseeable future? Ooh, that sounds like a stretch. But hey, you know what? There's probably a lot of, I mean, there's certainly a lot of people that got a lot of disposable income out there.
I would actually say, just to that specific point, you're totally right. If you're in a major city, obviously, like the big city teams like LA and New York and like San Francisco are going to have like the easier time because they're in a major city. But I think there's something to be said when you look at like, and I don't really watch like a lot of college football or college basketball. If you live in the middle of fucking nowhere, you have nothing else to do. If you're in fucking
right, but that's not where the Overwatch League teams are right now.
They are in generally all major cities. Yes, but then they don't have that problem that you were thinking of. But I'm just thinking like, and this is no disrespect. If you're in fucking Iowa or Oklahoma or in South Carolina or, you know, one of the Dakotas, doesn't matter which one it is, you got nothing else to do, you're probably going to go to fucking Overwatch League. Now, there's never going to be a team there, but I actually think there's something to be said of, as a New Yorker growing up, one of the reasons that the New York like video game scene or esports scene isn't as big as it could be is because there's too much other things to do. Like I could go to a major concert tonight from just about any genre of music, or I can go see a movie, or I can go to like one of 100 clubs, or I can go do whatever. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Go to a video game thing is like, you know, way down the list. I almost think that, you know, it's easier if you're in the middle of nowhere. But at the same time, there's also 9 million people here. So they only need a few thousand to show up. So I think it does kind of work both.
It's also kind of funny because of all of the things you mentioned, of all the activities and things you could do, going to watch an Overwatch League could potentially be the most expensive one of them all. You know, like that's kind of crazy. You can see a concert for possibly cheaper. You can, you know, if you're slick with the tongue, you can go to a club cheap, I guess. I don't know. So
yeah, no, I mean, it's true. And I think that's one of the things. Are you're sure that it's priced at $50?
I mean, that's what Dallas was this past weekend. It was $100 for the weekend.
Right.
It was $50 per day.
Here's the other thing, right? Like you can always put stuff on sale, but it's always going to be harder to raise the price. So from like a business pricing perspective, I mean, maybe they're like, hey, let's just see how many people will show up like at this price point, and then give away free tickets to fill the rest of the seats, because it's better to just have asses in the seats than it is to try to make the money strictly on ticket revenue. I mean, that's part of why people look at me like I'm crazy sometimes when I'm like, yeah, like I prefer not to charge people to get into our events. Like, for example, with bar fights, like that's always been free. Whereas, you know, you have essentially the inverse of this, right? Like Overwatch League charging more to go to their event than it would cost you to see, you know, your favorite pop artist in the cheap seats when they come to town. So I don't know. I think it's interesting that they want to experiment at that price point, but I guess maybe they were confident they could sell all of the seats at like the 10, let's say around the $20 price point or the $10 price point, because think about all the bands that you've gone to see at the local venue, for like $10 or $15. And think about how old you were when you were going to most of those shows. Now, what if that shit was $50? Would you still be able to go? Nah.
Hell no.
So what they're trying to do, right, is they're trying to get all of us poor people that would go to the local metal show or the local indie rock show and be like, get the fuck out of here, you broke motherfuckers. Come back when we got some real money to spend on this shit, because this is for the elite only. The E in esports stands for elite.
Well, I mean, also if it was free to get in or very cheap, then trying to sell a GTX 2060 might be impractical because people can't afford that. But you pay $50, you can probably afford that.
You definitely know.
Telling you.
Right. They maybe they have used some like new zoo style way to extrapolate the average Overwatch consumer's earnings so that they can go to the graphics cards and hardware companies and they can say, look, these people, based on the fact that we know that these people will pay $50 for a ticket, we can estimate that their their income is between this range and this range. Therefore, they are totally qualified to buy your product. It's brilliant. I wish I would have thought of it. You know what? I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna rethink my model now. Here we were, Mike. Here we were fucking up to 10 years now, trying to get like normal ass people into it. You know what? We needed to price people out of this market from the get go. God,
that's right. That's right. Look at that. You think about it. You charge $50,000 to get in. All you need is one person to show up. Now you can go over to Porsche and say, look, this guy paid $50 to get in. He'll probably buy your car.
Exactly. Now we're not trying to get sponsorships from Kia and Hyundai. Jaguar
moving up the ladder, charge.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's brilliant. I wish I would have thought of it. We're so dumb. God, idiots.
I mean, you guys in the fighting community got to step your shit up. That's why we're here on the Esports Show, talking about real esports. So the secondary story to this whole thing, which is totally different, and there was a video in the doc that I showed you, because it was the first home game and everyone was cheering for the Dallas Fuel. They were booing the other teams because that is how things go in traditional sports, and that's normal. But I've got to say, the Overwatch community, in terms of the Overwatch esports community, has a lot of people that are very sensitive to things. That is why Pepe the Frog is banned.
No, what are you talking about? They can't possibly be. No. The elite Overwatch community is sensitive to. No. They're so tough. I mean, they can withstand anything. I don't believe that for a second.
So there were more than enough people that were actually upset about people booing the opposite team at the event, and obviously that is fucking dumb because you should be booing the other team, you fucking pussy bitches, and that is how things should go. But that is now a thing that's
toxic
happened.
Sports masculinity out of here, Rod. This is fucking elite sports, and we want to cheer both teams. You know why? Because we want to see a good match between the best players. And if we let ourselves get out of control with all this hooting and hollering, then what does that say about us? What does that make us, the elite sports fans? That makes us no better than those savages in the FGC.
No, you're right. You're right.
And then what? If we don't keep this to golf claps and we allow people to boo the opposing teams, then we won't be able to charge $50 for these tickets anymore. People expect a certain level. They need to hold themselves to a certain standard if they want to participate in elite sports like Overwatch League. You were talking about the new term, Mike, I think I got it. Elite Sports is it.
You might be onto something.
Yeah. Good thing nobody listens to me anyways.
Oh, they do. They do. They'll apply it 8 years from now. Right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who's going to an Overwatch League game, please show Ryan you're wrong and boo the other team. When you spend $100,
I will not stand for this. Here's the thing. This is the problem with elite sports, right? One of the many problems is that people don't understand the value of a fired up crowd. And that's because people don't, I don't know, people, maybe it's different, but people don't study pro wrestling and understand that it's not whether you're a good guy or a bad guy. It's the heat that you generate through the crowd. And if you watch old episodes of Monday Night Raw, like 95% of the audience used to hold up a sign that said something obnoxious. And you know what that made for? A better wrestling show. So, you know, without people booing and cheering their favorites and the antithesis of their favorites, what do you really have? You just have like a little one-player game. You know, it's like golf claps. Like, yeah, nice shot. Nice shot. Oh, he's moving in for the kill. This is going to be a quite critical moment in the Overwatch League. Yeah, and then what? Now you're ASMR Elite Sports. Okay.
dude, you might actually be onto something.
Oh.
Are you surprised?
Like you and Mike have each blown my fucking mind with two totally different things tonight, and you didn't mean to, and either. And I'm already looking towards the future because that's what number one esports consultant does: takes in comments like this, and is looking towards the money in the future. So I'm already on the ASMR esports train now.
No, that's
dude,
definitely a thing.
you get your Pokimane and who's the other one? Amaranth. You get those two together as your two. They're gonna tag team the Overwatch League ASMR channel, bro. That shit will blow up bigger than the normal Overwatch League channel.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling Pokimane might not love that you put her and then Amaranth in the same sentence.
I'm sorry. Was that a bad example? I don't know. Honestly, I'll be honest. Okay. All right, Rod. All right, you got me, Rod. I don't actually follow either of them or what they're doing, so I don't know of any personal beef. They were just the two Twitch streamers that came to mind when I thought ASMR. I don't know.
Well,
You got me. Gootecks is a fraud. He doesn't actually creep on all of these ASMR streamers. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Yo, can you hit Control H real quick? I just want to see what's going on, man.
I've been told by live stream fails and Destiny that mentioning Pokemon is the easiest way to get on live stream fails. So if anyone wants to clip this and put Mr. PogChamp and his commentary towards her and the equality between her and Amaranth, you are more than welcome to do that. Not saying you should. I'm just saying
giving away a golden karma. I'm just giving away a golden idea.
That's right.
For those that like to operate in the ASMR / Overwatch worlds. That's all. You're welcome. Do it. Do with it what you will. Obviously, it ain't gonna be me that's trying to capitalize on that market. So
I need all the clip chimps to make the Pokimane stream as quickly as possible on live stream fails. You get a ton of karma. You just mention Amaranth and Pokimane in the title, and that shit is gonna go right to the top. Right to the fucking top.
No context in the clip, but just put that in the title.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You got me. Should have never given you this idea. You know what? Somebody out there, they're gonna take it and run with it.
That's right.
Okay, I guess that is a boring topic. All right, we'll skip it for now. Moving on, there was a big tournament in Seattle, or in the Pacific Northwest, a fighting game community tournament, a ranking tournament, Northwest Majors, where our old friend 801 Strider, the seemingly only Street Fighter V player in Utah, came and won the whole thing, winning, I believe, his very first Capcom Pro Tour event with the President G. It is amazing to see that guy succeed. He's been on the grind forever. Congratulations, 801 Strider, now ranked number 4 on the Capcom Pro Tour leaderboards and number 1 in America. Wow.
I want to take this time to congratulate him for his win. Obviously, like I was mentioning in the beginning about, I like watching my people succeed, but also at the same time, it's been 2000, I don't know. What year is this? 2019? It's been like 10 years. And, seeing this community, I'm so disappointed. 2 Utah players, 801 Strider, 801 Peru, Renzo Gustavo. That's literally it. For how many years? Everybody in Utah must suck so bad. I love Gustavo, but I think it's disgusting. There's no new 801s. There's nobody from Utah stepping up in 19 years. You never see that happen in SoCal. You never see that happen in New York or other places. Like somebody steps it up, and takes over. But I don't know why. I think it's just disappointing that, again, props to Gustavo. I'm if you're watching this, Gustavo, I'm happy for you. I'm thrilled for you. I always want to see you succeed. You know that. I'm so happy to see you win. But there's still nobody in your entire state that comes close to even causing a dent in the scene or nothing. That's sad. You got to do something about that. You got to step your people up and tell them to get better, because
Mike,
that's bad. I got you. Okay. So, well, can people hear me now? We're good. All right. So, not to repeat everything I said, just to kind of summarize it, I'm just, it's just sad that in 10 years, it's still just, Gustavo from Utah. Nobody from Utah is doing anything. And nobody's even looking at him and say, "Yo, Gustavo sucks. I'm gonna beat him." Like it's just him. Nobody in Utah. Somebody else plays.
Mike.
Yes.
They're all on missionaries. Most of the people over there, and they can barely get back to video games, let alone the fighting game community.
Yeah.
So maybe after the daily Mormon ritual, they can get to the grind.
Yeah.
And really step things up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it just. I would love for someday to see somebody step up from Utah and just be like, no, this is Utah. I'm the king now. But nah, that hunger ain't there. And I can understand it. Maybe I don't like the game. That's cool. But eventually, somebody's got to step up. Gustavo, I'm so proud and happy for you. You know that. But it's got to suck being the only person, being the only one all the time, right? No competition. Is it lonely at the top, Gustavo?
Well, maybe it'll be Mormon combat that brings people out the woodwork. You know what I mean? They just didn't have their game.
Yeah, you might be right.
I thought Aris was a fucking genius. No, it is motherfucking PogChamp gootecks. PogChamps in the fucking chat. I want a bunch of PogChamps and Mormon combat in the chat right fucking now. I want the entire chat to do PogChamp Mormon combat. Just fantastic. Thank you.
This is just the low-hanging fruit, guys. What can I say?
Reach for what you can, man.
Wow.
That's all right. Yeah, but I guess I'll just say, props to him. Good to always see Gustavo winning and putting in that work. But Utah, no other 801s. That's sad. No.
No. This is the real question. Mike, you're thinking too small here, okay? The real question is, and we're still pretty early in the year, but EVO is, games have already been announced. The hype train's already come, not for the Melee community, but, for everyone else to go into EVO. And the real question is, will America finally fucking win Street Fighter? Will they finally fucking win? France and the UK won Street Fighter at EVO before America did. Do you know how pathetic that is? And all respect to the EU, because the European Street Fighter scene, I think, has come so far since like Street Fighter 4, the launch of Street Fighter 4, where it was really just kind of US versus Japan, and then some of Asia came along. But really, for Europe to have 2 EVO titles in the new age Street Fighter 4 and 5, and for America to still not be able to come through in the clutch. Justin came really close, Ricky came close, and now Punk came so fucking close. Will America finally be able to win an EVO Street Fighter title?
So here's the thing. Your question is will America be able to win a Street Fighter title?
At EVO, because of course Knuckle Dude did it at Capcom Cup, but EVO is specifically.
At EVO. And yeah, I'm about to pull my Rick Fox moment right now. Whenever people bring this question up of will they ever be able to win a Street Fighter title at EVO, it's funny that the world forgets that the only Americans with an EVO title were Jason Cole and Snake Eyes. Why do they forget that? Why do they forget that? Why do they forget that America has won Street Fighter EVO titles, but yet we just for some reason don't like to admit that Jason Cole and Snake Eyes are the American leaders of Street Fighter? What's up with that? Why do we omit that? I'm glad you brought that up because I hear that all the time. When will America win?
I can see no.
Yeah, I mean, there's also John Choi.
Oh yeah, John Choi. You're right. No wait, what year did he win?
He won CBS. He won CBS 2.
Are we talking about? Oh yeah, that counts. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking for some reason. I was just thinking.
Oh, and he won ST the same
from
year?
Like losers bracket first round, right, or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Dude was like an absolute monster. And Choi, yeah, give it Choi. Koreans, they went through the same struggle.
Though to be fair, I mean, none of those games were like the main Street Fighter title. I think that's what Rod's saying. It still counts though, and hey, let's not forget, Marvel 2 was dominated by Justin literally for six straight years in a row or something.
Yeah.
You guys are making so many fucking excuses because neither of you two could come through for America when it's a major Street Fighter title. So you gotta be like, Street Fighter 2 HD,
doesn't even matter.
And
it doesn't matter.
2 and Marvel 2, and you know what? They did it back then.
All right, fine. You want me to?
Rod, what did you place at EVO? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, you know what? Mike and I have placed higher in EVO than you every year, so don't fucking bring that bullshit into here.
You do got me there. You are right about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna answer Rod's question basically, and say sure, why not? Let's say Punk, Smug, maybe they might take it this year. I'll say they will. I'll say Punk's going to win EVO this year. Punk's going to win EVO this year. He's ready.
Punk has the best chance. I actually have a theory that EVO is kind of like the tournament that the established veterans can win, whereas Capcom Cup is a young man's tournament.
Interesting.
Because you look at the people who have won Capcom Cup and compare that to the median age of the people who have won EVO. It's not I personally, I mean, it's not a knock to either of them. To me, like, it's not like, oh, this is better or one is better than the other. I just personally think it's like a different skill set.
It is.
And I think in order to win winning Evo requires a different metagame skill set than Capcom Cup does because it's also sort of like an endurance contest, and you have to get a lot more right in the metagame in terms of your travel schedule and your ability to be ready and your ability to last over the course of 2 days. Well, I mean, really 3 days. So that's why I kind of think it's more of like an old man's, not an old man's tournament. That's not a good way to put it, but something where the older players excel at it better because they've had more experience going to more Evos and taking the meta travel game into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I mean, to be truthfully honest too, there's so many players now that are getting tournament results that I don't know who or where these people are from. So I'm just kind of like blindly, pushing for like Punk to win. I really don't even know what the competition is all looking like.
I mean, Punk is definitely in the lead for, the most likely chance of winning. I just feel like, because he had the best opportunity out of anyone, and then Taquito comes back and just ruins his whole fucking life. I can just see him getting to the final, and then someone like, honestly, Taquito again making it there, and then him just having like Vietnam fucking flashbacks while in the grand finals, like up 2-0 in the first set, and then Taquito coming back from losers and winning like 3-2, and then shutting him out 3-0 in the finals.
Yeah.
It does feel like, it does seem like his nerves have gotten a little bit better, and I don't really know if he lost because of nerves, but he's a young kid. Like, people don't realize Punk is really young, and he has not been nearly around as much as other players.
Yeah, I think after that he sort of went through a slump, but now clearly this season he has got it figured out and has fully recovered and is now back stronger than ever.
No, I don't actually know, but is this because of new updates, patch? Is this because of patch stuff?
Not yesterday, 2 days ago, Zorine and I went down to the OC Goodwill charity event that Level Up was doing at Esports Arena in Santa Ana to go do real work, Rod, as esports professionals, and we interviewed Punk.
Of course.
And she asked him, like, what do you attribute this, newfound success to? And he was just like, I don't know, I'm just playing the game and it's working. So, he to him, it seemed like he's not thinking about it in terms of patches. He's just thinking about it in terms of playing with his stream to train. And who knows, maybe this is a more effective way of training, just playing people online with your stream and having them tell you stuff that you don't know. I mean, it's a tool. Streaming as a player to get better is a tool.
What do you think of the evolution? And this is ignoring the netcode of Street Fighter V. And I honestly don't know what the overall consensus is of the netcode of Street Fighter V, especially here in America, as opposed to like
Still
Japan,
bad.
where pings are really low. But okay, sure. And I'm definitely going to believe you that it's probably pretty shit. Do either of you think the evolution of online play has equaled or surpassed, going to the local arcade and playing on no ping and leveling up that way?
I think that it's gotten to the level where if you have your system optimized in terms of your method of training, I think that training online at home can be just as effective, if not more effective, than playing in the arcade, playing at some arcades in person, like at least in North America. In Japan, I think it's still a better situation there. But the reality is that as a player, whether you're trying to get good at Street Fighter or any other fighting game, or probably any of these other games, if you have a good setup at home, meaning one setup for training mode, one setup for matches, and maybe like a third setup for watching your matches back, and trying to study other videos and stuff while you're waiting for matches, you have a lot of advantages that you don't have when you're playing in an in-person environment, with the exception of the arcade scene in Japan.
Yeah.
Yo, Mike, you doing dishes?
No, that's not me.
No, sorry.
Ryan, you doing?
Yeah.
doing some,
Just
okay.
getting a jump on.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we're still not there for fighting games with the online system yet. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of, more on combat, whatever, and playing that online. I'm actually beyond amazed at how good that connection is with all my matches. And for people wondering, it's like almost as a test. I'm solely playing online. I mean, solely playing on Wi-Fi, and the connection for every match has been amazing. But it's still like the whole overall online component in fighting games sucks, I think. There's still not one that's done it right.
I mean, yeah, netcode has been shit for a long time. I mean, if anything, that is why the Riot game will be good, because the Cannon brothers are over there. They know what it takes to make good netcode. They made it with GGPO. Yep. So they'll probably make this I mean, if anything, you're going to give props to esports. It is the proficiency and the code in terms of making the netcode good for the majority of their games, because they are played online. There's no arcade culture to come from PC esports games. So I really hope that is going to be a focus moving forward. Though I hear Tekken's like pretty solid from what I understand. Even Mortal Kombat, from what I understand, is like okay. I mean, the biggest problem here in America is like, because the country is so big, if you're playing online in Korea or Japan, maybe it's still better to go to arcades because arcade culture is prevalent. But you're playing in such a small country and the internet is so good that if you're playing online with 5 ping, it's fine. If you want to play someone, if you're in New York and you want to play someone in California, it's gonna fucking suck. And that's still gonna be a hard thing to do here in the US.
Yeah. You can't really get around the laws of physics, I guess. The speed of light is a thing. If there were more people playing, then maybe the matchmaking could be better so that it would just match you. It probably, we don't even know. It probably already prioritizes you based on ping and location. It's just that there's not as many players. So by default, when you're searching for ranked, it's not going to find as many players that have a low ping. But it's not getting worse.
Is Mortal Kombat run on GGPO? I saw somebody in chat mention that, but
I've heard that I've heard Injustice runs on it, but I don't.
I mean,
really
I would
know.
assume then, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but yeah.
All I know, it's good. The online, I haven't had any problems in any of my matches.
Yeah, I have yet to play a human in this game.
I haven't even touched story mode. I got it and just said, all right, let me
go. Wait till you get halfway through chapter 1. Holy smokes.
But Mike, I mean, okay, and spoiler for everyone, if you don't want to be spoiled by Mortal, I know it's a big deal right now. You don't want to be spoiled by Game of Thrones or Endgame or whatever. You don't want to be spoiled by Mortal Kombat. You can turn off the stream right now. But Mike, don't you want to make sure that slavery never happened?
Well, I mean,
don't you want to go back in time and make sure that
I mean, that's a fantasy, but in reality, that it happened. So I mean, if I can relive it through a story, I mean, that's a cool concept. it's a cool concept. You put that in a game. Wait a minute. Should I be offended by that? That's in a game? Like, wait a minute. No, I don't know.
Some people were offended.
Some people actually were offended.
Of course.
In the ending.
That's not accurate.
No. In Jax's ending, supposedly he goes back in time and then finds a way to rewrite history and free slaves. And then some people were mad. I hear they were Overwatch League fans that that he didn't go back and free all of the slaves. He only went back and freed the black slaves. So people were mad,
Were these people also mad when Quentin Tarantino released a movie called Django Unchained? Were they mad about that film as well, probably?
I'm sure they were mad at all kinds of things. I mean, as I mentioned earlier in the show, we only have white people in our community, so they don't. This is a hard concept.
Well, I mean, like, it's You know, this is more on combat we're talking about. They have a lot of diverse characters in there. I mean, do they cover any other crazy topics like this in the game? Like, are they just using their platform to try to appeal to like everybody, I guess, every demographic?
There is this sort of political undertone of sort of defending against immigrants.
This
A
is
little
my
bit.
maybe
I
I
mean,
should play the story mode.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Interesting. I don't know. They got that's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know.
The second, we didn't have this in there, but the other thing people are mad at is that the titties aren't big enough.
Yeah.
The titties are not big enough, and they are not revealing enough. So all those people that really wanted to jack off to, Frost or Jade or whatever are not able to this time. Do either of you think the titties are not big enough?
Wait, what did Sonic?
Oh yeah, that's a whole other. Wait. But before we get to Sonic Fox and the turf thing, are either of you looking for bigger Mortal Kombat titties? Are you sufficient with the current size of the titties in Mortal Kombat? Because I am. I think the titty size is okay. I wasn't planning on jerking it to my my Mortal Kombat characters. I think they're reasonable.
Yeah. I think the amount of titties, cleavage, whatever shown in the game is perfectly fine. But I can understand the frustrations. If you were reliant upon it, you did have posters on it, you did pleasure yourself to it multiple times, and then they take it away. It's like, what are you going to do now? So I do get their frustrations, but for me, I think it's more important to focus on a good game. But it means nothing to me. It doesn't bother me. I don't need that in my game. If I want titties, there's plenty of resources to get that.
Like, you can kick someone in the balls and have their nuts like break through their brain and explode onto the screen, and that's totally cool. But the titties are too small.
So
that is the thing that makes people upset.
They don't have a problem showing nuts getting busted. They don't have a problem showing like naked dudes, right? Because I play Garrus and he's shirtless. He's got like his balls kind of hanging out. And they tone down the sexuality of women. Maybe the creator of the game prefers men. Possible.
That was not at all where I was going, and you continue to fucking amaze me, Mike.
It's a possibility. Like, who knows, right? You take away one thing and appease more to what you want to see. Like, what does that tell you? Like, it's possible. It's not like there's anything wrong with that. Like, you put in what you like.
No, I mean, if we could have, I'm down for bigger dicks in games too. Like, if you want to make massive dongs on these guys, like, I don't have a problem either way. Small dongs, big dongs, floppy dongs, hard dongs, left and right, up, down.
Slasher
it's all
doesn't
good.
Discriminate when it comes to
I
inverted
do
ones?
not discriminate. I don't.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think that it's to the point now where that wasn't the hill that they wanted to die on. Like, if you were to put all of the elements that make Mortal Kombat a, mature rated game, 17 and over, it's the just sheer crazy cartoonish. I mean, it's not even cartoonish. Like, just the brutal level of violence, that plus, scantily clad women. Yeah. I think, based on the current socio-political climate, it was way easier to just continue down the violence road and just basically save any of those costumes either for DLC after the game has come out so that it's not ruffling people's feathers right now, or save that for Mortal Kombat 12 or Injustice 3 or whatever. Because the reality is that, especially because they're trying to integrate, let's say, for example, Ronda Rousey does the voice of Sonya Blade. They don't want to. It's like they're trying to put on this thing, especially when you watch story mode. A lot of strong female characters. They don't want to, let's say, take 2 steps forward and 1 step back by putting themselves in a position where people can complain about scantily clad women. That being said, the modding community is going to do whatever the fuck it wants, and I'm sure there's lots of people working on all of the costumes that they wish that they had for all of their characters, and those will be available through Patreon and all of your sources where you would get such things.
I mean, there are people making literal six figures in money on Overwatch porn, so I definitely
say what now?
There were people making six figures a year to make that high quality Overwatch porn.
That is the sound of Mike Ross reconsidering his career choices.
Hey, if there's an opportunity, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to get just real talk right here, and I know I'm going to be SJW Slasher in the chat in about like 30 seconds. But all you fucking guys there who are really actually upset that your titties are smaller in this Mortal Kombat and the clothes are revealing are probably all a bunch of fucking incels that have literally never met or spoken to a woman in their entire life. And this is why, all you fucking idiots, in the literal sense of that word. We're not gonna, make any other thing. You guys can't fucking handle that your titties are smaller in the video game and you guys can't jerk off to it, and that is the closest that you've ever come to any interaction with the opposite sex. So I understand why you guys are so mad all the time, and this is why you're like furiously typing on the fucking internet and shit, but you guys are gonna have to hold that L and just deal with the extreme levels of violence instead to hold you over.
This is the world that we live in, that it is way more socially acceptable to take a hook and put that through somebody's head, stab somebody in the stomach, see all the blood, than it is to see some CGI rendered female fighting game characters. I mean, I don't know. It takes a lot more than any of that to offend me, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that Offcast mentioned, the other final controversy is that Sonic Fox posted a video on Twitter, I believe 2 days ago, of him doing a fatality to Sonya, who was voiced by Ronda Rousey. And to give some context, Ronda Rousey has been criticized. Okay, one, her voice acting in this game is fucking terrible. Like, it is actually legitimately
really
nothing to do with anything else. Just the voice acting itself is one of the worst things I've ever fucking heard.
And here's the thing, like, I've been watching her on Monday Night Raw for the past year. Like, she's good on the mic. She can deliver the lines, but goddamn, it's like they just brought her in for an hour and had her read off of the teleprompter or something.
I mean, I would say that's less Ronda Rousey's fault and more the fault of the
dialogue,
the director of the voice acting. Yeah, because you already know you brought her down there because you need star power, right? You want star power. She's not a voice actor or voice actress, whatever you want to. So if she's down there, you got to kind of instruct and direct on how to deliver said lines. It's your job to make sure that you bring that out. But if you're not there, this is just people that are like, hey, of course it's good, Ronda. Everything you do, yes, it's great. It's great. It's great.
That's true. I mean, WWE gets good lines out of her. They probably collaborate with her on writing stuff for her that will sound good when she's talking shit on the mic. And when I'm watching her on WWE, I'm like, I fucking believe it. You're the baddest bitch on the planet. Like, okay, you win.
Yeah.
So it's quite a shame actually to not get that in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So I mean, as much shit as you want to give the WWE for like fucking up their storylines, writing is like an integral part of their process, and no one thinks of when you think back to Mortal Kombat, the biggest moments of the game, no one's like, you know what, the writing was great in that Mortal Kombat. Fucking I love the dialogue and I love the things they were saying, just fantastic. I don't think that's a fucking thing. That's probably contributed.
Green Power Van says they couldn't make her work 20 hours a day. Well, you know what, she's got a really good agent. She's got a
So the other thing that would happen to Sonic Fox is he posted a video of him doing a fatality to Sonya Blade, And because it was voiced by Ronda Rousey, the controversy is that Ronda Rousey has made controversial remarks against trans people in the past. And Sonic Fox, if you didn't know, is a gay black furry.
What?
I didn't know that.
This is a thing, Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this, gootecks.
No.
Some people are like pretty upset at Ronda for her commentary towards trans people in the past, and Sonic Fox is one of those people that is very, he's been a big advocate for the trans community in the way that he speaks about things, as a gay black furry, of course. And he made a whole video of him owning Sonya because it was voiced by Ronda Rousey, and aiming it at TERFs. TERF is an acronym for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist. So these are the radical feminists who don't believe that trans people are part of the feminist kind of ideology and the way that the feminist movement goes forward. So he made this tweet, making the fatality on Sonya and talking a bunch of shit about TERFs, these people. And then there was a ton of people from mainly England, the UK, because that's a term used a lot more in the UK than here in America. And there were some like large scale feminist accounts that talk shit about Sonic Fox and that reported him. And Sonic Fox's Twitter account was actually locked for 12 hours yesterday. He only got back online a few hours ago, and he said, basically he came back and he was like, nah, fuck all you guys. I'm going to make another video, you stupid motherfucker TERF assholes. And I'm gonna keep going at it. So, I
respect him standing up for what he believes in.
I do too.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I mean, it's a very, very dangerous territory that he's treading on.
But it's not like he already went to the Game Awards. He already started the entire controversy.
He's even if they wanted to drop him, he's undroppable.
There's nobody in the world that's going to drop a gay black furry.
Yeah,
they were anything literally every time. Who's won like every single time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Let me hold up. Yeah. Let me clarify that. Sorry, I'm not saying that because he's just like this is not just any gay black furry. Like, this is not me we're talking about. We're talking about somebody who actually like is good and wins like all the time. So.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a gay black furry who is more esports than any fighting game player ever. He's only 21, and for all the history of the Capcom community, and honestly, the NRS community has gotten shit on almost more than any other smaller of the other fighting game communities, and this motherfucker has still won over $550,000 playing primarily NRS games and some Dragon Ball. So until he stops winning, and until someone can actually put him in his place in the actual game, he's going to continue to do and say whatever he wants.
Yeah, and good for him. He should be able to. He can, as long as, within respect and reason, I guess, as long as you really don't go out of your way to offend people. Even if you do, it's your prerogative. You can do what you want, but he's the best. He can do whatever he wants. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah. If you don't like what Sonic Fox is saying, then you need to beat him in order to shut him up.
That's right.
Because this is it's a meritocracy. And,
to quote a very wise man once, he said, "If you beat me, you beat me, but until then, you ain't shit."
Yes.
That's pretty much pretty much like the only motto that matters.
Truer words never spoken.
That's right.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. Let's see.
He always brings some entertaining shit. Every time Sonic Fox is around, he's always making shit popping.
Yeah, bro. He's putting the E in entertainment sports. the entertaining in esports.
Yeah.
And for real, but he made his name off of Mortal Kombat, and now MK11 is like the main game. He has an opportunity to this year alone be the first fighting game player to make over $1 million in prize money. If he wins most of the tournaments and he plays like Dragon Ball on the side and he also plays in the Dragon Ball World Tour, I could realistically see him winning he needs another 444,000 this year to make that happen. I think that's a possibility. I think he can get over $1 million in prize money just this year.
That would be a beautiful thing. That would be a beautiful thing. Well, hopefully somebody is like, nah, I'm not going to let you get that, and I'm going to challenge you and, stop you from dominating. That would be dope, but Sonic is the best, man. He's the best at what he does.
Yep. All right, let's see. Do we want to talk about college Fortnite players or cheating Magic players?
I know neither of you give a shit about fucking either of these topics. Everyone in chat doesn't give a shit about that either. They just want to hear fucking Mike talk.
Ain't nobody want to hear me talk. But I was gonna say, since that Fortnite, I did see that thing where those dudes won, and they're like, "Yeah, now we're done with this game."
Yeah,
that's dope.
That's the thing that I'm talking about. That is literally the topic. So basically, 2 collegiate Fortnite players played at the collegiate championships this past weekend in New Jersey. And after the duo won the Fortnite, they basically went on the mic to do an interview, and they said that Epic is fucking up the game, and that they're gonna quit Fortnite in their winner's interview. And then the interviewer who was interviewing the first dude was like, nah, you can't say that. And then asked another question to his teammate, and that other guy was like, no, actually, we're just not going to play competitive Fortnite anymore. We're going to play other games instead because of how bad Epic is making the fucking game. Mm-hmm. So huge props to these fucking collegiate players who have bigger balls than most of the actual pros who play, games for a living right now, willing to speak their mind after winning the fucking event in the first place.
Well, here's the thing. They didn't have very much to lose, did they, Rod? This is a culture of self-censorship for the sake of preservation. Because if you're reliant on one source for your income, then you have to make the decisions about balancing keeping it real versus keeping your paychecks, keeping your livelihood. So this is why in the gootecks School of Sustainability, we teach our students to have a plethora of income sources and to never rely on one thing, because at any moment, one of these things could go away. It's a good thing you got half a dozen other things that are bringing in money. But hey, if you ain't got nothing to lose or you're untouchable like Sonic Fox, you say whatever the fuck you want. Most of us do not have that luxury.
Go ahead. No.
I was just gonna say, like, in these two guys' cases, I don't think they were concerned the least bit about relying on this game to be their bread and butter here. So that's why I think that was pretty dope that they have that ability and that freedom to be like, you know what, nah, this game is whack. We're done with this. And I'm not saying that the game. I don't know if the game is whack. I'm not a Fortnite player, but if there's people that I guess are still playing that competitively, then obviously it must be good. Just like some of the other games, I might think it's whack, but in perspective, man.
So just to give you some context, there is literally $50 million in prize money on the line.
Yay!
And the $30 million World Championship is in New York in about 2 months. So people are trying to qualify for the $30 million prize money Fortnite tournament. Epic has given away $100 million in prize money in the last year. They're expected to. They gave away maybe 10 to 15 in the last 6 months. And then the remaining, there's like 30 total for just the finals. And then they probably have another like 15 or 20 for the remainder of 2019 after like the World Cup that they have. So there is more money playing competitive Fortnite than there literally is in any other game in the world now in terms of competing.
How about there's more money in Fortnite than in any other industry in the world?
Yeah, also true.
That's insane. Professional athletes can't even expect to make something like that in their very first year unless you sign a soda deal before you even play. Like, that's crazy.
So now what makes this kind of what it is. The reason that these two dudes said this in this video is because, okay, so when we talk about like Overwatch, and I said earlier, like, I think they're fucking up the game. It's because like Overwatch has had a ton of problems since the beginning of the game came out, really since the launch of the game. And almost every day, because I was like almost like a pro player in Overwatch, so I've been like a top 500 grandmaster player for like 13 seasons or whatever, so I know what I'm talking about in terms of like the actual gameplay itself, in terms of what's wrong. So we've been complaining as a community about what's wrong with the game almost on a daily or weekly basis for 2.5 years. And Blizzard, the way that they handle things is they don't fucking do anything. We've had this stupid, shitty GOATS meta, which is triple tank, triple support, for like 9 months. And before that, we had another stupid meta for like a year and a half called Dive. And we've told Blizzard that they need to make significant changes to these heroes and to like the rank system and to like the game modes, and they don't do anything. And okay, so that's one example. Now Epic, on the complete opposite spectrum, is like, here's a $10 million tournament. Oh, and by the way, we're making a gigantic gameplay change literally on the day of the tournament without telling any of the pro players or anyone. And the gameplay that we're making is we're adding a fucking plane into the middle of the game where you fly around and you fly through the buildings, which is the main component of the game. Or we're going to add a sword where you can literally spin around and destroy the entire structure of anything in the game, another core gameplay element. So Epic has taken the decision where, the game is so popular for like the everyman, the normal people, that they don't give a shit at all what the competitive players are doing. So the pro players will be practicing on a patch or in a certain way for like a month, and then Epic will just release a gigantic update and not tell anyone, and the update will be like huge. Like, not only will the update be a huge in terms of gameplay, it'll be stupid. It'll be dumb. Like, the things that they add to the game are fucking absolutely the dumbest motherfucking thing. So now they've done this so many times that players and even the top streamers like, Ninja or Myth, people were pissed. People are like actually pissed at Epic because they don't seem to give a shit about the core competitive player. And I get it. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars. The majority of their players are casual players, but they don't really seem to care about the people that are grinding the game and that are playing the game a lot, and they're appealing to the lowest common denominator. So you have people like this who are really frustrated, and they will speak out about it. And so you have two sides of the coin. You have someone like Blizzard who doesn't make any changes, even though the entire community tells them they need to do something, and then you have someone like Epic who won't leave the game alone at all, and they'll make massive changes that are also dumb at the same time.
Well, it sounds like a bit of a, I don't know. It's your money. You're throwing out hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't, do they even know why did they even get into this? Why did they make the game? Like, what was the thought process? Did they make the game just for for a cash grab?
No, Fortnite was made, like the original Fortnite was a story, not story driven, but it's called Save the World, and it was not intended to be like a fucking battle royale. They saw PUBG kind of take off at the beginning, and then they're like, oh, this is a good idea, and then it became what it is.
Well, you take a clown game seriously, that's what's gonna happen. The game was made just for entertainment. I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know what they're in. Yeah, you already said it. So it's not that they're trying to be, I guess, the super most competitive. They just wanted to get people playing it by offering, I guess, thousands of millions of dollars, right? Switch over, play our game. Here's $100 billion.
I mean, when you make $100 million a month, it's like, fuck it at that point.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, who cares? Y'all are complaining. Well, our bank account just increased even more. I can't hear you over all this change falling from the sky.
Yeah, I mean, really, it just is. It's a line item on the marketing budget. Whether it was $10 million or $100 million. this is just what they reinvest into the people that are playing. There are way more casual, lowest common denominator players than there are, the top of the top tier players that are grinding this game super hard, trying to get that money. And so why would you not try to appease the masses versus really trying to appeal to what is undoubtedly a significantly smaller segment of their player base?
Yeah. The vocal minority, right?
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. I'm just glad that I'm not a Fortnite player and this doesn't trigger me. But yeah. Well, I guess that almost wraps it up. I think I think this was a good, yeah. Did pretty good today, guys.
This was fun.
Mike, are you gonna be sticking around?
After this is off? After this call?
No, I mean that would be cool too. But I mean, like in general, are we gonna be?
It's one and done, Slasher.
Are we gonna be?
You're gonna have to tune in. You're gonna have to tune in next week to find out.
Because I mean, honestly, no one gives a shit about me on this show. People only care about Ryan a little bit, but everyone is only here because you're here tonight, Mike. And honestly,
well, that's true. Yeah.
No, I'm 100% right here. And you know what? It was so. No reason I'm fucking here is that you're here. I mean, I've been like missing out on my own show for like several weeks now. So really, like, you're one of the only reasons that I'm even here at my own show.
I know you're blowing smoke up my ass because you didn't even know I was here until like 2 minutes before we went on.
That is true.
Well, I didn't tell him.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him. I didn't tell anybody anything.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what that means. Like, I'm just going back to do what I do after this. I'm still going to be watching. Definitely probably be watching you guys next week. So I told Ryan that before. I was like, hey, I'm watching the conversations. This is how I stay informed.
Bro, just take my spot. I mean, just kick me on the show and insert you. I mean, that's what the fans want anyway. They don't give a shit about me.
I could never take your spot. I'm not the #1 esports consultant in the world, so I can't offer an insight and information into this world that you can offer, Slasher. I think your knowledge and your opinion is so important and impactful in this world. It's literally priceless. You're a god amongst men, Slasher, and I truly feel that way.
Exactly, it's priceless. That's why we don't make any money.
Gootecks always fucking coming through with the truth.
Yeah.
I love you, Slasher, for your honesty, your brutal honesty, straight up.
Thank you, Mike.
The very first time I met you, I hated you. And the truth was I only hated you because I was jealous of how quickly you are quick to tell the truth and not bullshit people. And I was like, damn, I wish I had that ability in me. But I'm learning it. So you're a good man, Slasher.
I'm gonna say that you've done a pretty good fucking job.
Thank you.
At that.
Working on it.
So I really would love for you to be, more back in the public eye again. I would love to see another excellent adventure between both of you together. I really miss that show, and I would love to see it again.
Well, I talked with Ryan about this earlier, so if we did it, it's just going to feature nothing but Winston Dick.
That's right.
17 minutes of Winston Dick. Still JPEG. Yeah, I don't know. We'll do something, right? I mean, I just want to, I guess, first off, I guess this all kind of came about just because I definitely, it's been a little bit isolated in this cave. I'm still watching. I like to see, Ryan putting out the good stuff, quality stuff. Still, meaning everything he says. People still don't listen to you, Ryan, because you're too smart. You're too ahead of the time, too ahead of the curve. But
thank you.
Yeah, thank you for even asking me to come do this today. This was fun.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll do something. We'll definitely do something. Obviously, my brain never stops. There's so much I want to see in this world, but I can see there's just so much that people have just like settled for and are content with that. I feel like, man, I got no place. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Only time.
We need the people's champ to return.
Oh shit, that ain't me. That's Combo. Peter's the people's champ. I ain't not the people's champ. I promise you, I'm not.
Return.
Oh well, me may not even be talking about me. That's me being arrogant. Saying, "Oh no."
Now you are the people's champ.
Nope.
We need you back.
Nope.
Back in full force. I need you.
I don't know. Is that a spoiler? I haven't seen Endgame yet, so I don't know. Oh no, you can't really. Spoil. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see you around when I'll be at I'm gonna go to one of these tournaments soon. I won't be able to make it to Combo Breaker. I got to go to a wedding on that Saturday.
Oh, you getting married?
No. No, that ship sailed a while back. So, yeah, I might hit up CEO or something. I think that'll probably be the next one I can go to.
Well, you know what? I have not gone to a fighting game tournament in a long time. And I know like Ryan was trying to get me to go out, and it would be great to see Ryan. But if you fucking go, I will make sure. I will make sure that I can be there.
Relax, dude. Relax. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, come on. You can't see me right now, but I am so hard. You can't see it because it's kind of like hanging off. Like, around here, but I am fucking ready, Mike. You were talking earlier about Mortal Kombat, and you got my head spinning. Yeah, you talked about like Winston Dick and Excellent Adventures, right. And I can't fucking take it. Actually, we're gonna have to end the show soon because I gotta go.
You gotta go ahead and take care of some business. Yeah, we'll see. We'll do some stuff though. We'll do some stuff.
Yeah, we will, me and you.
Oh boy. This definitely wasn't how I pictured this going, but can't say I'll complain. It's all right.
All right, guys. Well, let's see. What was there?
There is one more thing.
Oh, the Sonic trailer.
Yeah. I think that is a perfect way to end the show, a masterpiece of show. Yes. It is with the beautiful, incredible, super realistic, great dialogue, and just amazing trailer that is the new Sonic movie. Universally acclaimed. Everybody loves it. Fuck the Pokemon movie. That is going to be bullshit compared to the fucking Sonic movie. Did you see Jim Carrey? That realistic performance.
I have not seen anything related to this.
Okay, I think we should all be quiet real quick, and we should show the fans out there just the.
Okay, we're going. All right, let's say our goodbyes. We'll play this thing, and then we'll call it a day.
Thank you. Love you all.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Mike, for coming to us live via satellite, your undisclosed secret location.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. Thank you for being kind to me, Slasher. You could have gone hard and you could have gone all 9 inches in on me, but you decided to be pretty shallow and
just the tip, baby.
Yeah, just the tip. So thank you. It's been fun. It's been real fun.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you where you can find Mike Ross because I already
know. No, you can't follow me. I don't want to look behind and see somebody following. So no, you can't follow me.
Nowhere.
There's no following.
Yeah.
I'll follow all of you. I'm the one that's lurking in the shadows.
Yeah.
You guys don't worry about what I'm.
You don't follow Mike Ross. Mike Ross follows you.
That's correct.
I need the chat to spam PogChamps and hearts for Mike Ross in the fucking chat. Everyone in this fucking show right now wants another excellent adventure, and they want to see the love making between you two. Because as much as my 9-incher can comfort someone, there is no comparison to what the love that you two can bring. So PogChamp, Heart, Mike Ross in the chat. I want to see that fucking chat spamming. I want to see some people getting banned for spamming too much. Make that shit happen.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
That's a lot of love.
That's a lot of love. See, the people.
See
Yeah,
that?
the people. Yeah.
I hope this isn't banned or offensive yet. It might be at some point.
I
Give
mean,
it time.
for all the things that you said, we might not be able to have a next show for next week. So, this could be the end, and I thought it was an incredible way to go out.
Sorry for doing that to y'all, but it was a pleasure. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Slasher, where do they go for more of the world's #1 esports consultant?
I mean, honestly, I always say you could just find me, but I'm going to be stalking Mike Ross after this event, doing some investigative reporting. So if you want to find me, you'll be able to find Mike Ross soon enough. I'm going to find out where he is.
I'm gonna check the bushes.
And report back to you. So if you want to find me, and you want to find Mike, you'll be able to do that real soon.
All right, and shout outs to XSplit and for powering this podcast. Lewis is there holding it down, pressing the buttons, making everything work so that we can just focus on bringing an informative show on elite sports and the 1% of gamers. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. My name is gootecks. We'll be back with more. Same bad time, same bad channel. It's a mystery as to what next week is going to have. But we're going to leave you guys with this amazing Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I can't hear it, though.
Man, I saw this trailer this morning.
I didn't see it.
Are people able to hear us? Offcast.
Okay.
Oh, okay. As we play the trailer, we're probably gonna get copyright banned. So we're not only will we be banned for Mike's comments, we're gonna get hit by like every. Oh, because you don't know gootecks. It's the best song. It's the most relevant song the Sonic ever has played during this trailer.
Put that volume up. Put that volume up.
Yeah, put the volume all the way up.
20 minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest. This needs someone who can figure out exactly.
I don't get it. Sonic the Hedgehog is now. This is some sort of government project to stop Sonic the Hedgehog.
Are you in charge here?
Wow, that doesn't make sense.
And Jim Carrey.
I'm wrong.
Wow.
I'm in charge. Allow me to clarify.
Yeah, that is Bison. That is damn right. You're damn right. That's Bison.
Agent Stone.
The doctor thinks you're basic.
I love me some Jim Carrey.
Yep.
I mean, just wait till the iconic Sonic music starts playing.
This November.
Iconic Sonic music.
Meow.
Why did they do it that way? It's so weird.
It hurts because I think, speaking for the whole world, everybody is a Jim Carrey fan for the most part. Mm-hmm. And I think that they knew that, and using his name alone might get some people to go spend that money in that movie theater to go watch this movie.
Well, they need something. They needed something to save this fucking train wreck.
He can probably carry the whole film.
He could carry it. I would watch Jim Carrey just for 2 straight hours. Mm-hmm. I may not even care too much about this Sonic the Hedgehog element of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, this is a Jim Carrey movie. It's not a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
If you look at it that way, now I'm inclined to go see it. Yeah. Remember, Mike, the last time there was a relevant Jim Carrey movie that came out, we did quite well on that.
How much longer? I can't breathe.
Whoa. Yeah, you right.
Yeah.
You right.
Shout outs to influencer campaigns. R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I used to live that influencer life.
Oh yeah. We were influencers before there was a fucking name for it.
Yeah. Now I realize I don't ever want to influence anybody in this world.
Have fun. You didn't have fun making that video?
I had great fun making that.
Well, we went to made it with if Dumb and Dumber. Right. Yeah, if the Dumb and Dumber 2 DVD release didn't happen, we wouldn't have had fun making that little video that you can see on the It was like the first or second time we had. It was like the second time we had Justin Wong on Excellent Adventures.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do. I like the challenge. It was a different experience. Yeah, that was awesome. But
Yeah.
you know, then it's like, hey, you guys are good at this. We want you to influence everything. Anyway.
All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Mike, thanks for making the time. Slasher, keep shilling for Overwatch League.
Ooh.
Thank you, XSplit and Lewis, for holding it down for us, empowering the Untitled Esports Show. We'll be back next week with more insight and exploits into the esports world. See you later. Good night.